Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. A little confusion on this first day of practice at Bills' mandatory minicamp. Coach Sean McDermott told reporters star receiver Stephon Diggs was not there, called the absence very concerning. The Bills did confirm Diggs was at the team's facility yesterday and this morning, then left before today's practice. Following the NBA Finals loss to the Nuggets, the Heat will restock this summer, just as the team did in 2020 after the Finals loss to the Lakers. One star in particular would be a solid addition for Miami this offseason, says First Take host Stephen A. Smith.
I do believe that a guy like a Damian Lillard, who just finished averaging 32, who's one of the great shooters from the point guard position this game has ever seen, who's been a prolific scorer throughout most of his career, particularly in the latter years. I think somebody like him, just as an example, would be a perfect complement to Jimmy Butler.
The Panthers won't announce whether injured star Matthew Tkachuk will play in a must-win Game 5 Stanley Cup final until puck drop tonight against Vegas. Florida, a plus 162 underdog. The Rangers hired Peter Laviolette as their new coach. He gets a 3-year deal.
It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles, made for your next adventure. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. A lot to get to today. LSU football picks up a commitment. Saints had mini camp. We'll head to Knoxville in hour number 3. Lee talking beer. Lot to do. So we now know LSU's opponent, date, and start time for Game 1 of the College World Series. It will be the Tennessee Volunteers. Saturday night, 6 p.m. Central Time. Jay Johnson, a lot of players met with reporters today out at LSU. Jay acknowledged they were sort of expecting that this would be the outcome.
Yeah, not a surprise at all. You know, when you look at the bracket, when it comes out, you obviously get focused on the game in front of you, and then you kind of look to that first game, what it might be. And, I mean, that's basically who I anticipated that we would play. Great team, great talent. Enjoy competing against them, and should be a great night for college baseball.
So LSU and Tennessee, talking about that is where we'll start today.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So I would have loved to have seen Southern Miss upset Tennessee. I think all of us here, for all the very obvious reasons. The fact that Tennessee are a bunch of jerk faces. Nobody likes them at all. Their coach is a moron. He's a loser. Good coach. You got to respect the fact that they're pretty good. But, yeah, not in any way likable. We all hate them. Everybody hates them. And I would have loved to have seen them bow out in the Hattiesburg Super Regional there. But they advance. I don't think it's a great surprise. They're a talented team. They got some really good pitching, some good hitters, and had a very nice season after some early struggles. They surged late, and they're really good right now. And if you watch that game, by the way, I don't know if you were, but bottom 5, it was 1-0 Tennessee. And there was one on with 2 out. And Moore was at the plate for Tennessee, and he had an 0-2 count. And it looked like Southern Miss was going to get the call. Should have gotten the call, third strike to end the inning. put the call to the ball. 2 pitches later, hit by pitch, and then Zane Denton hit a 3-run homer. And that was it. Gave Tennessee a 4-0 lead, and they go on to tack one more on. So in any event, Tennessee wins. It'll be LSU and Tennessee Saturday night at Charles Schwab Field. A lot of people have asked, what bracket would you rather be in? It's the College World Series. Everybody is good. You're down to the final 8 teams in the country. You're in a bracket where you got to face Tennessee, and Wake Forest is in this bracket as well. You could be in the other bracket where you'd have to look at Florida and all their deep pitching, and it's the College World Series. Everybody's good. So I don't know that that there is a bracket you'd rather be in or a situation you'd rather face. It's going to be hard no matter what. I also don't think Tennessee is super psyched to be staring at Paul Skeens again. I mean, let me remind you, the last time he saw them in April, Skeens, on short rest, by the way, 7 innings pitched, 1 run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. I don't think in Knoxville the conversation they're having today is, heck yeah, let's go get him. It's crap. We got to face that guy again. And they got really good pitchers at Tennessee. And I mean, the thing about Tennessee is I don't worry about Paul Skeens in game 1. We'll talk about what LSU may do, by the way, but and why it'll probably set up the way it does. But Tennessee is one of those teams where if there is a team in this field built to come out of a loser's bracket, Tennessee's probably that team. For LSU, while Jay's not going to announce it, of course, Paul Skeens likely will and should pitch game 1. This is a very different scenario than when you're going into the regional facing a 40-loss Tulane team, and why basically everyone, except the guy making the decision, thought you hold Skeens for the marble game. In this situation, everybody's good. Everybody has an ace. I mean, you're facing Tennessee. You've got to win the first game so you can start 2-0. You can't start 2-0 if you don't win the first one. So you got to go win this first game on Saturday, so you're going to start Paul Skeens. The other reason you start Paul Skeens is, and Ben McDonald said this on the show yesterday, it gives you the possibility of Skeens pitching 3 times in Omaha. The thing that you got to remember is the format a couple of years ago, they changed it. Since last LSU was there, the championship series was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you play on Saturday against Tennessee. The longest your stay could conceivably be in Omaha is to the following Monday. So you don't necessarily have all the downtime you used to have, and just to get Skeens out there a third time would be a real stretch, but the only way it's even feasible is if you throw him in the first game, which LSU very likely is going to do. By the way, Jay Johnson today was asked about sort of setting up the pitching with the new schedule and the new format in Omaha, with the whole thing kind of being condensed by a couple of days.
It's not like that anymore because they've gotten rid of some of the off days. And so it's, with the exception of you have a day off after your first game, it's just like a regional. And so I think it had been that way for so long. I think we all just kind of assume, but when you're in bracket 2, there's definitely less downtime. And I actually don't mind that for our team, especially with the way more guys have been contributing. I mean, if you want me to get really picky about the regional or the super regional, I would have liked to have gotten more pitchers in the game that we think are good, So they'll have that chance, in this tournament. And I think that's okay for us with the way they're throwing the ball right now.
So for Tennessee, we all expect LSU is going to throw Skeens, and they should throw Skeens. The bigger question is, what is Tennessee going to do? And Tony Vitello has options. Chase Dolander, of course, was the SEC Pitcher of the Year a season ago. He was everybody's projected first rounder, and then he struggled out the gate this season. And back on April the 13th, they made the announcement that they were switching their rotation. They moved Andrew Lindsay to the Friday night role and moved Dolander to the Saturday role. And by the way, that weekend that they did that, they were at Arkansas and they got swept. So that was the 5th SEC weekend when they made that change. But subsequent to that, they got on a roll. They swept back-to-back weekends. One of those was against Vanderbilt, as you might remember. So they really got on a roll after that switch. I don't know what Vitello is going to choose to do here. All throughout this postseason, they've kept it as is with Lindsey, Dolander, and then so on. And to make the point, though, further, whoever it is, if it's Lindsey or Dolander, I'd still think you favor LSU giving the ball to Paul Skeens, especially in that park. The concern about Tennessee specifically is if Tennessee comes out of the loser's bracket, or if LSU wins the first one, drops the second one, now you're in a world of trouble because Tennessee can go Lindsey, Dolander, Burns, Beam, in whatever order Tony Vitello wants to do it to set it up based on getting through the bracket, winner's bracket, loser's bracket, how we might want to set up possibilities for a potential championship series and all that. I don't know what his thinking is or what he may do. And we're going to talk to Wes Rucker in hour number 3, and we'll get a greater sense of what Tennessee may do to set this thing up. But Tennessee coming out of the loser's bracket is the bigger concern. Because if you're LSU, you feel good with Paul Skeens. Let's say you win it, you advance to a winner's bracket game, say chalk holds, and you play Wake Forest, and you throw Ty Floyd. And Ty Floyd's been great, and maybe you win that game, maybe you don't. But if you don't, then you're probably coming back to face Tennessee again with either Burns or Beam. And that, provided they survive, that's the challenge, right? That's the real challenge for LSU in this side of the bracket, is the depth of Tennessee's pitching if they do come out of the loser's bracket. Listen, this Tennessee team, this isn't the team of a year ago. A year ago, Tennessee hit 308. This team hits 284. Last year, Tennessee had 158 homers. This team is at 125. They're 33 below where they were a year ago. Last year, they had 8 contributors hit over 300. This team's got 4. It's just, they're a great team. They're in Omaha. They're a great baseball team. They're not the thing they were a year ago, and LSU already has a series win against them in Baton Rouge. So give the ball to Paul Skeens. Let Paul Skeens do what he's done all year. Go shove. Go win a game on Saturday in Omaha. Play your way into the winner's bracket and take care of either Stanford or Wake after that. All right, it's After Further Review. Of course, our show open every day brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana. I'll keep reminding you when you're at the store, wherever it may be, preferably your local Rouse's, make sure you check out the Bud Light or the Budweiser aluminum bottles with the camouflage on it. You'll see the Folds of Honor cans. So Folds of Honor, great charity we've been telling you about here, celebrating 13 years. Pretty cool. Of course, there are 13 stripes on the American flag. There are 13 folds on the flag as well. And this is the 13th year of Folds of Honor. And Budweiser, Bud Light were inaugural partners of Folds of Honor when they launched to raise funds to fund scholarships for the children of our fallen war heroes. So few more noble tasks and organizations than Folds of Honor. And every time that you buy the camouflage aluminum bottles of Bud Light or Budweiser, they're donating money back to Folds of Honor. And in the 13 years that they've been partnered, Budweiser, Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch have donated $21 million to Folds of Honor. So an awesome organization, and we're proud to salute all those who participate in Folds of Honor, including our partners at Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with Bud Light. Okay, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a break. We'll head down to New Orleans. Brooke Kirchhoffer is going to join us, and Saints are back on the field for minicamp today. And there were some surprising people there present and some surprising absences as well. What do we see? We'll talk to Brooke next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by ProCharge EV. ProChargeEV.com. Electric vehicle charging stations for your home or your office, your commercial building. It's ProCharge EV. If you've seen the news here in the last week where, of course, it looks like Tesla and some of the other big manufacturers have partnered on charging stations and the manufacturing and making them align across different brands. The bottom line is we're continuing to see more and more electric vehicles on the road. Driving home yesterday, exiting Highland Road, boom, there was a Tesla right at the red light. They're everywhere. Electric vehicles are everywhere. What aren't everywhere are EV chargers. ProCharge can help you with that. And remember, if you're a business owner, if you have a commercial property, maybe it's amenity for your tenants, maybe it's amenity for your employees, maybe it's amenity for your guests, your customers, or it's a revenue generator with tap-to-pay options. Either way, ProCharge can help. Learn more at ProChargeEV.com. Contact them today, ProChargeEV.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Good day today. Had everybody out here. Got some good work, some good, 2-minute work. So again, this is just part of the process of us getting better as a football team. And guys are out here working and grinding, and we got a long way to go, but like the direction we're headed.
Dennis Allen, Saints on the practice field today for minicamp. Brooke Kirchhofer from WWL was there. She's with us now. We appreciate it as always. Brooke, how are you?
Hey, Matt, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Can we start just by sort of setting the stage? What was today like? Sort of how was it organized? What did they do?
So before everybody gets too excited, remember they're in T-shirts and shorts, but to be honest with you, as a member of the media, I was so excited just to see the majority of the roster back out there, starters, things like that. Just kind of, it looked a lot like OTAs as far as just individual drills. We did get to see a little bit more of 7-on-7, but again, it's not like they're hitting full speed like they are at training camp just yet, but we got to see enough of some of these starters that got back, which included Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, some of the guys on the offensive line, and of course, Marshawn Lattimore, who everybody has been dying to see. Let's start with Kamara. And there's just so many storylines, obviously, around Kamara because what he's potentially facing this offseason. I guess first things first, how did he look today? He looks great. He looks like vintage Alvin Kamara as far as physically. Now, as far as his personality, this is something that I was really curious about. Kendre Miller, the Saints drafted a running back who has a whole lot of confidence. And when he was asked about joining the Saints, it was, I'm coming for that number one. I got a lot of respect for Kamara, but I want to compete. Then they go out and get Jamal Williams, who's kind of, the goofy anime running back, but still very much wants to solidify his role on this team as the number one running back. And then you have true running back one, Alvin Kamara, roll out there. The first thing I wanted to see was, how are the three of those guys interacting? And when I tell you it seems like all three of them were on an island, that is what it was like. Alvin Kamara was not his typical, chalking it up with the guys. He was kind of off to himself. I never saw him communicate with Kendre or Jamal, which is very bizarre given what you saw with Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, cutting up. Now, Alvin did cut up with, Derek Carr and coaches and all that. It's not like he showed up and was like, I'm out for blood, I'm out for everybody. But that competitive drive was on full display from those three running backs in that room.
It's an interesting way to put it, Brooke. Is it good that there's the competitive drive, or maybe a negative that they all are gunning for each other? Do you have a read on that early?
Well, look, I think the Saints PR staff would love it if they all got along.
Right.
But I actually like this, and I think Saints fans should like it too. It's always a good thing when you have competition in a room like that. And look, running backs, the shelf life gets younger and younger, as we've seen in the last few years in the NFL. That's why they went out and got a guy like Kendre Miller. Now, he wasn't back yet. He's still getting those mental reps off to the side, coming back from an MCL injury. But Jamal Williams, he ran with the ones whenever they were in 7-on-7 or just offensive drills separately from the defense. But I like it. Putting some pressure on Alvin Kamara to get back to his self. It's been a couple years since we've really seen him put up the numbers that he did, in 2020, 2021. But I think a lot of that, too, is because the load management last year was not where the Saints would have wanted it to be. They were kind of just having to rely on Alvin Kamara. And I think because of that, you didn't get to see him play his best. So I think this is going to be a really good thing, having three guys that you can put on the field.
Brooke Kirchhoffer is with us. She was at Saints minicamp today. You mentioned Taysom Hill as well. I did see some video of Taysom Hill throwing the football. So what's going on? Is this just a minicamp thing? He's a camp arm, or are they working to a quarterback?
Matt, here's my thing. Why is Dennis Allen continuing to try and feed us the lie that he's a tight end? Come on, be for real. I love Dennis Allen. I think he's a great guy, but come on, BA, be serious. The last time we were at OTAs, he said that Taysom Hill was going to stay in the tight end room. I saw him maybe over there for a couple plays. The guy was with the quarterbacks, and honestly, it felt crowded, the quarterback room, with Carr, Winston, Haener, and then you have Taysom Hill, who's not in the red jersey. He's in the typical black jersey, and he would go off to the side with quarterback drills. Taysom Hill threw a couple balls. He also caught a couple balls from Carr. I think he is still going to have that jack of all trades. Oh, and I saw him in special teams too. So I was like, where is this narrative that he's going to be a tight end? That's not happening.
So did he do any work with the tight ends? Look, you had Foster.
Look,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He did, but how you have in baseball, you have utility next to it. Can we just say Taysom Hill's utility? You know what I mean? He's a guy that's going to have multiple roles, and that's okay to say that for the head coach to say that. I'm not sure why they continue to try to push the narrative that he is just a tight end, because he very clearly is going to play multiple roles.
Another pass catcher is Michael Thomas. A lot of headlines, obviously, when he was out there at OTAs. Was Thomas out there today? If so, what did we see him do?
So he was out there, but he was not with the wide receivers. So whenever special teams rolled out, which, as you know, in these OTAs and mandatory minicamp, that's a big bulk of these practices, because that's where they're kind of weeding guys out. So that was a significant amount of time with special teams. So because of special teams, Carr, Winston, Haener, and Michael Thomas, and some of the quarterback coaches and assistant coaches, or the analysts, they were off to the side on the other field. And Carr and Michael Thomas, the volume they got of just catching back and forth, because Thomas wasn't involved in any of the drills. He's obviously not cleared. I didn't see Michael Thomas do anything outrageous legs-wise. Now, as far as his hands and his catch radius and things like that, it's still stunning to see it. And they were – actually, I went over there just to listen to them, because we weren't allowed to shoot this part of practice. And I heard Derek Carr mention to him, hey, I'm 32 years old, Mike, as far as, I can't just be over here and throw you 100 balls, back to back to back to back. And Michael Thomas, that just competitive edge, and his mindset's different. And he's going to want to push those boundaries and things like that. I will say we did see a pretty cool one-handed catch from Michael Thomas, but this is the 1-2 catch step. He's not sprinting out onto the field or, doing these significant routes. It was very much he would stand in front of the end zone and just catch back shoulder balls from Derek Carr. But it was a significant amount of time.
And two more for you. Brooke Kirchhoff is our guest, WWL. Of course, the New Orleans Football podcast as well. Check it out. She's on Twitter at Brooke Chesney. Give her a follow. I got to ask one about defense. You mentioned some of the starters back on defense. What if you mentioned Lattimore specifically, what would you say might be the biggest storyline defensively today?
So for me, and I think this will carry through training camp because I think it's still a pretty heated competition, is who is starting opposite Marshawn Lattimore. Is it Alontae Taylor or is it Paulson Adebo? And one thing that was surprising to see today, and I wouldn't buy too much into this, Paulson Adebo and Marshawn Lattimore took all of the first-team reps at cornerback, and Bradley Roby took all of the first-team reps in the slot. Alontae Taylor worked in with the twos, and the reason why I think the Saints are doing this is because I think they want him to earn it. We know Alontae Taylor has been, tooting the horn of I've got a lot of confidence in myself. I know my ability, and we've seen his ability. To be honest with you, if I had to put money on it, I would think Alontae Taylor would beat out Paulson Adebo, but I think they're trying to find a way to put all of these guys on the field at the same time. But it was interesting that Alontae Taylor was not working in the slot, and it was Bradley Roby that was there. But I will say, look, when Marshawn Lattimore was out there, the vibe changed, and on the very first 7-on-7 team drill, he had a pass breakup on the very first play, and the guys went nuts. It was like, all right, last back. So we'll see what happens opposite of Lattimore. It's a crowded room. It's a good thing to have given all the injuries the Saints had last year in the secondary. So I think it's a good thing for right now, but the Saints are going to have some decisions to make.
And please, God, just stay healthy for sure.
Oh, gosh. Oh, you know it.
Before you go, Blake Grupe, is he a legitimate threat to take Will Lutz's job as the place kicker?
As crazy as it sounds, yes.
Okay.
So when you look at the playing field, when you're out there and you're looking across the practice field and you see the two of them, I'm not kidding. They look like there's a 20-year age difference because, unfortunately for Grupe, he is so undersized, Matt. I wish I could give you a side-by-side picture. And I hate to say it, too, because the kid's probably tired of us saying he looks like a middle school kid, but he does. He's small on the field. But guess what? Doesn't matter. If you got that torque in your leg and you're kicking and you're nailing field goals longer and more consistently than Will Lutz is in practice, which is what we have seen, Will Lutz is seriously going to have to compete in these next two mini camps and then in training camp. And I think he knows that Grupe is coming for his job, and there have been enough signs that right now it almost seems like the favor is in Grupe if you're just going based on made field goals right now.
We are almost to camp. We are getting dangerously close, and it's going to be an exciting time. Brooke Kirchhoff, thanks so much for the time, Brooke. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Matt. Have a good one.
You do the same. Be well. Again, on Twitter at Brooke Chesney. Give her a follow, WWL TV. I love that she brought up Grupe size. If you haven't seen his Twitter, go look at his header photo on his Twitter. It's his photo from Notre Dame, and it's like they're lined up singing the alma mater. It's Grupe and several players. Well, he's in the middle, and actually the Notre Dame mascot is the leprechaun guy is right next to him, and the leprechaun guy is wearing a helmet. The leprechaun is bigger than Grupe. It's a pretty hilarious. Now, granted, he's standing next to linemen who are just unnaturally large humans, so he looks smaller anyway. But the fact that the leprechaun mascot, the guy in the green pants and the vest and all that stuff, is right next to him and bigger than he is, it does kind of put it into perspective just how small he is. But man, as you said, you uncork that leg and you can drill him. You got a great shot to win that job. So we'll see. We'll follow it. One we'll be following during camp. All right, we appreciate Brooke for a couple of minutes with us here. If you're watching live on YouTube, thanks. Please smash that like button if you would. Appreciate everybody who watches live every day on WBTR, Cable 19 in Baton Rouge. And keep telling you, we're excited. 2 weeks from yesterday, June 26th, we will be live on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette and ESPN 104.1 in Lake Charles. So excited that AFR is expanding into Southwest Louisiana. So tell a friend if they live in Southwest Louisiana, AFR is coming to the 337. We couldn't be more pumped up about it. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. When we come back, we will go around the SEC and also in honor for an LSU baseball freshman. We'll tell you who next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Tigers have punched their ticket to Omaha. Of course, plenty of the Tigers are a member of the G team over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And Gordon, as a way to celebrate, has a whole bunch of autographed baseballs that they're giving away. Signed baseballs from members of the G team, Gavin Guidry, Gavin Dugas, Trey Morgan. If you want to learn how you can win one of the 20 signed baseballs, go to GordonGives.com. Again, that's GordonGives.com. Gordon Gives is the charitable arm of the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney family, or all the details there on any of their social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they're all over the place. Just go to @GetGordon on any of the social media platforms. Find out how you can win an autographed baseball from members of the G team. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, helping injured people in our state for more than 30 years. If you've been injured, go to GetGordon.com, GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
This LSU baseball team, just an embarrassment of riches as far as talent. And this is sort of an example, an illustration of that. Today, Jared Jones was named Freshman All-America by the NCBWA. That's the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. And look, Jared Jones is hitting .304 and has 14 homers on the year. He also hadn't been in the starting lineup in like a month. It's crazy that you have a dude with 14 dingers and is a freshman All-America that's basically a become late in the season here a role player. And I don't mean that in any way as disrespect to Jared Jones. That's way more a compliment to LSU when you can say, hey, the big hulking dude who has 14 bombs on the season, yeah, that's a luxury. And we'd rather put Josh Pearson in the outfield and catch Travinsky and put Morgan back at first to get those guys in the lineup. And so that means Jones isn't there. It's just an embarrassment of riches what this team has. But congratulations to Jared Jones being a freshman All-America. It's certainly a worthy honor and one that Brady Neal likely would have been in the mix for as well had he not been injured. But Jones had a fantastic season and is worthy. Another freshman who had a fantastic season is Gavin Guidry, who met with the media earlier today. And, so much of this is it's one of the great stories because, this is a guy who we've told the story so many times, wasn't even supposed to pitch this season. And here he is now as he sat in this studio and told us the whole plan. He didn't pitch in the fall, and then they revisited and did exactly what Jay Johnson said, and Wes Johnson as well. And, of course, now we know Wes Johnson was introduced today as the Georgia head baseball coach. And, I love Jay's story over the weekend about Gavin Guidry popping his head into Jay Johnson's office saying, Coach, don't worry. It doesn't matter who's calling the pitches. I'm going to strike him out anyway. It's the moxie this kid has. But Guidry did talk about the job that Wes Johnson has done, bringing him along this year.
I didn't start pitching until February, and he helped me get my arm into shape really, really quick. And then, getting your arm in shape, it's a grind whenever you aren't on the mound for a little while, and then trying to get back into it as far as, like, where your body's at. Your body, once you start moving down the slope, it kind of shocks your body. And so, he did a really good job getting me back in, easing me into it. And then once my body was ready to go, it was time to go out there and compete. And from the very first pitch I threw in game, it's like I was saying, positivity. He's the most positive person I've ever met in my life. Every single day he's just feeding positivity.
The player, one thing that is consistent with all the players when you talk to them about Wes Johnson, they love Wes Johnson this year, and that is going to be a loss. And Jay will find a great pitch coach that will replace him for the second consecutive year, but that there's a reason Wes Johnson was with the Minnesota Twins and came to LSU and is now a head coach, all in very short order. One more from Guidry, though. He was asked about the plan for fall ball this year, considering what do you do? You're going to lose Jordan Thompson, you're going to lose Gavin Dugas. You're losing your middle infield, and he's a guy that is expected to be a middle infielder, but he's also given you so much on the mound. So what do you do?
That's the plan in the fall, is come in, get back hitting, get back playing short, taking ground balls, getting back in shape, working hard at that, and then slowly getting the arm back going and throwing some in the fall, getting my arm ready for season.
So the plan is to see if he can maybe be a two-way guy. And listen, the plan in the fall this year was for Paul Skeens to be a two-way guy. Pitch on Friday and probably hit the rest of the weekend. And then it was, hey, hit on Friday, take the weekend off, maybe get some hacks in the midweek. And then it was, man, put the bat down and just pitch. So some of that might develop as the season goes along, but Gavin Guidry his development in that bullpen has been such a huge piece of what LSU has become this year. Congrats to him on a great season. Congrats to Jared Jones being named a freshman All-America. All right, after further review, go around the SEC in just a second. Quick reminder about Mold Zero USA. Been great partners of ours here on After Further Review, and I love telling you about Jim and all the gang over at Mold Zero. Jim has spent his life helping others. The guy who was in the Air Force and was there for part of the recovery effort post 9/11. He found his way down here after the BP oil spill, and it's so fitting that he's got this company, Mold Zero, which helps people who are overcoming different disasters or whatever may be around your home. If you got issue with mold or odors or other pathogens in your home, this is an affordable, safe way to knock it out. You go to the website mold-zerousa.com. You can see pictures of the work. There's a video testimonial there. You can actually read about their patented technology and get the entire U.S. Army Corps of Engineers report on this technology. So don't be fearful of it. Learn more and understand why it's safe. There's little or no demolition required, how the treatment works, and how you can, in most instances, less than a day, have mold gone from your home, and you can be in a completely safe, mold-free home. It's mold-0usa.com. For Mold Zero, mold-0usa.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama's added North Dakota State transfer Grant Nelson, committed to Alabama over Arkansas. Nelson spent 3 seasons playing for the Bison. They say Bison, right? Not Bison. They say Bison there at North Dakota State. As a junior, averaged 18 and 9. He's a 6'11", 235-pounder. He is expected to be a day one starter there at power forward or center for Nate Oates' squad.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn has added a commitment from JUCO basketball player Adarian Scott. 6'9" forward, added 9 points and 7 boards per game this past season in the junior college level. He's got 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. He's the number 53 JUCO recruit in the country for this class. Auburn has 1 scholarship remaining for next year.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Former Texas Tech catcher Hudson White is transferring to join the Hogs baseball team. White hit .296 with 11 bombs this past season. He was the Big 12's Freshman of the Year in 2022. So after a couple of successful years there in Lubbock, headed to Arkansas. Meanwhile, catchers Parker Rowland and Hudson Polk still have the option to return to Arkansas next season, so one worth watching.
The Florida Gators.
Florida's got a commitment from 3-star offensive tackle Mike Williams. The 6'6", 325-pounder picked the Gators on his official visit this past weekend. Williams is commitment number 8 for the 2024 recruiting class, the first offensive lineman of the cycle.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Carolina football landed a commitment from 2024 punter Mason Love. He's the number 4 punter in the class, according to the Coles kicking rankings. Gamecocks were the only Power 5 offer, but Air Force, Army, Arkansas State, Navy also offered. Well, Cal offered as well, so there's another Power 5 offer there. 6 foot, 170-pounder. Love is the 10th commitment for South Carolina's 2024 class. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You own a business, you need office equipment, desktops, scanners, fax, print, all in one. They got you at Gulf Coast Office Products. They proudly sell the Savin line, but they will service all makes and models. So if you're having issues with your office equipment, you can trust Gulf Coast Office Products. Great supporters of the home teams as well. The official office equipment provider, the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Oh, Muse, by the way, what did we determine yesterday as far as Around the SEC? I see you went back to not the OG, but the most recent Around the SEC instead of the updated intro done by our friend Chuck P.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the OG Open is, or if it even, if the work parts even still exist on that.
Probably in chest hairs folder, somewhere in chest hairs folder. It's got it.
Most likely. Well, I went back to that because it won the Twitter poll yesterday. The current Open won the Twitter poll with 64%.
Okay, so the people have spoken.
People have spoken.
However, as we have learned, this is not a radiocracy.
There it is. What is it?
It is a radiotatorship.
Hey-o.
So I believe that I get to decide.
All right.
And this will play better on TV and YouTube than it will on radio. But imagine if you're listening, not watching. It's like the gladiator scene. Got my thumb out to the side. Is it going down or up with what the people want? How long does this go?
Oh, it's long.
Oh.
You just got to make your choice.
Oh.
And this is like in the middle of it, too.
I thought we were going to come to a crescendo and it was going to end there.
Nah.
All right, we'll go with what the people want. That's what.
All right.
We'll go with what the people want. That's well. I am a benevolent monarch. I'm not a monarch. I'm a benevolent dictator. I'm a benevolent radiotator.
Radiotator,
what I am. So, in this instance, I learned to choose my battles. If this is what satisfies the people, if this is what satiates their hunger, they can have the old around the SEC. All right, it's after further review. Stick around. LSU has added a safety commit. We're getting to that in about 15 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. Get to NOLAflooring.com or just get by New Orleans Flooring. Always great just to walk in and see the thing that you hear me talk about all the time. You know where they are, in Metairie, and then the Baton Rouge location is actually on Airline Highway in Prairieville. So if you're on Airline, you're going south toward Gonzales, but if you go south on Airline into Prairieville, look to your right. You know where the Walmart is, the Walmart on Airline Highway in Prairieville. Just past the Walmart on the right is New Orleans Flooring. Blue awning, blue sign, can't miss it. Walk in, and when you walk into, they're expanding even beyond the current warehouse. They're adding more space to have more product. And as we tell you all the time, with more than 1 million square foot of product in stock at New Orleans Flooring, they can save you 40, 50, 60% on the same flooring you're buying other places. So why would you overspend other places? Buy where the pros buy. Go see Terrell and Big Sean and all our friends at New Orleans Flooring. NOLAflooring.com.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Every Friday during football season, of course, we always do our tailgate segment, and our guy Coben from over at Chris's, Tressie, the whole gang over there are good enough to pop in and share some great tailgate secrets and tips with us, and we talk plenty. And, man, I tell you right now, Father's Day is on Sunday, and it's just a great opportunity to pop in. So I was talking to Tressie and Coben jumped in studio, man, because they got some good stuff going down over at Chris's for Father's Day. How are you, dude? It's good to see you.
All good. Glad to be here, brother.
Hey, man, it's our pleasure. And, you know, like whenever we do the tailgate segments, you know this, but like I'm a steak guy, right? Yeah. And I love what y'all do over at Chris's. The product's always been great. But when I found out y'all were doing this, I was pretty pumped. It's like, we got to tell people about this. So fill us in, man. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, so normally, you know, we have our regular hand-cut prime steaks. But for Father's Day, we're bringing in some grade 9 Japanese Wagyu, hand-cut, some of the best marbling I've ever seen. So at all of our locations, we'll have Japanese Wagyu for the week.
All right, tell us what grade 9 means.
Okay, so Wagyu is graded on a scale of 1 to 12, 12 being the best absolute steak you can get in the world, Kobe beef. So this is, like I said, this is grade 7 to 9. So this is some of the best steaks you can get in Louisiana.
I mean, if you've never had, let me just let you do. Explain the difference with Japanese Wagyu beef as opposed to the normal hand cut steaks that y'all have.
Yeah, so these Wagyu steaks are going to have way more marbling and way more content fat in them. So like on a steak like this, I'd cook it for about 2 minutes on each side, get it medium rare, and it's so tender and so fatty that you can cut it with a fork. I had one the other night and didn't even use a knife.
Yeah, you don't need a knife. When you have Wagyu beef, it's insane. I've been fortunate enough to have it in different places. It's an incredible treat. Like if you love steak and you've never had Wagyu beef, it's just different.
Yeah.
And I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. So kind of give us the lowdown then for Father's Day. I would imagine when you're talking about this caliber, like you don't just have like truckloads of it. I would imagine there's a limited supply. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now at our New Orleans, Prairieville, and Millerville locations, we have ribeyes and fillets that will be running all the way through Sunday.
Okay.
And then they're available just to come in and pick up. You don't have to call or place an order or anything. And then also for Father's Day, if you don't know what you want or anything, we are running a buy a $100 gift card, get a free $20 gift card for your father. So
very cool.
If you don't know what you get, or fathers, you've been thinking and you don't know what you want, tell your moms, tell your kids. We have a great deal going on.
So buy a $100 gift card at Chris's for Father's Day. You get $20 for free. And then, of course, the Wagyu beef. And I'm looking at the website. So it says you got sausage, chops, all the grilled meat stuff as well. So y'all are locked, loaded, ready to go for Father's Day.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't want to go this route, we have anything you could want. Steaks, other steaks, burgers, pork tenderloins, pork chops, chickens, anything you could want.
Are y'all shipping as well?
Yes, we do a lot of shipping. We do FedEx 2-day ground shipping. So we can have it to your front door in 2 days.
But are you shipping the steaks for Father's Day?
Absolutely.
Okay, but Father's Day is Sunday.
Yeah.
So today is Tuesday, and if you got 2-day ground shipping, if you're going to get this shipped, you might want to do it today or tomorrow.
Yeah, probably tomorrow would be your last chance to get it.
Okay. And again, Coben went through the locations, got the Millerville location, the Prairieville location on Airline. Actually, we just told you about New Orleans Flooring. Y'all are right next to New Orleans Flooring on Airline in Prairieville. Lakeview in New Orleans. Yep. Am I missing one?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, so you got the Lakeview location, then the 2 in the Greater Baton Rouge area. So make sure that you check out Chris's Specialty Foods online. It's chrisspecialtyfoods.com. So it's like back-to-back S. It's chrisspecialtyfoods.com, and you get gift cards online there as well.
Absolutely, you can do it in the store or online.
So you mentioned, give me a little grilling tip here. So you mentioned, for the Japanese Wagyu beef to go medium rare, you'd go 2 minutes each side, or 2 minutes total.
Yeah. So I have a black cast iron skillet. I get as hot as I can, and that provides so much fat content that you don't need no butter. You could do a dab of oil if you want, but like I said, I do 1 minute. Flip, 1 minute, flip, 1 minute, flip, 1 minute, flip. So I do 4 minutes total, and I do it 1 minute each side flipping.
All you said on a hot cast iron skillet.
Yep, as hot as you can get it.
What if you're just going on the grill?
Yep.
So temperature, just as hot as you can go?
Yeah, as hot as you can get it.
So, like, normally, if I was going to do reverse sear, I'd go maybe like 3 minutes each side, and then I'd do some oil on the outside, then sear it for like 30 seconds each side. So don't do that. Just go 1 minute, keep flipping.
Yep.
1 minute, one.
Yeah, that meat right there is so tender, you don't want to overcook it. So yeah, I do 4 minutes total.
Cool. One of the great things too about Chris is if you ever go in, if you buy stuff there, they'll give you recipes and how to cook all the stuff. There's a lot of it's a great place. If you're looking for something to do for Father's Day, Chris is awesome, and check out the Japanese Wagyu beef. Coben, thanks for coming in, man. We appreciate you, dude.
Absolutely.
All right, man. It's After Further. Y'all check out Chris's again, chrisspecialtyfoods.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hour 2, staring us straight in the face. Let's get you heads up, national headlines from SportsCenter. And when we come back, LSU adds a safety commit for the 2024 class. Another top player in Louisiana pledges to Brian Kelly. Turns out that guy knows how to recruit Louisiana after all. Hour 2 of AFR is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. The summer months are here, and you know what that means, y'all. You're getting on the road for that family vacation. Well, before you do, make sure you bring your vehicle to Shawbills. Go to ShawbillsTire.com to schedule service or to shop tires. Again, ShawbillsTire.com. There's 18 locations across South Louisiana. They started in Morgan City more than 50 years ago, moved up to Baton Rouge, west into West Baton Rouge, Port Allen, Livingston, the newest location in Laplace. No matter where you are around South Louisiana, they got a Shawbills near you. And the best part about Shawbills, I know I tell you all the time, of course, they can fix your vehicle. They'll sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. That's true. You can go see all the offers at the website. They treat you like family. From the time they opened their doors more than 50 years ago, Mr. Charlie always said, we're just going to treat people like family because it's the right thing to do. And that still stands true today at Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Not clear right now what's going on with Stephon Diggs and the Bills. Coach Sean McDermott today said their number one receiver was not at the team's mandatory minicamp practice. He called the absence very concerning. The Bills, though, did confirm Diggs was at their facility yesterday and this morning, then left before today's practice. The Panthers won't be announcing whether injured star Matthew Tkachuk will play in a must-win Game 5 Stanley Cup final until puck drop tonight against Vegas. The Rangers hired Peter Laviolette as their new coach. The Heat, coming off disappointment in the NBA Finals, facing some big questions this offseason, including what assets it would be willing to put in a trade to acquire another star to pair with Jimmy Butler. ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
They obviously have a need at the offensive end of the court, and they're in position to make a deal. They have Tyler Hero coming on to his big new contract. He is a player who has some value in the league. Duncan Robinson totally rebuilt his value throughout this great postseason run. And they have the 18th pick in this draft.
Caesars listing the Heat at 18-1 odds currently to win next season's NBA championship.
Coming up Wednesday, could Anthony Richardson not only be the best quarterback of his draft class, but one of the best quarterbacks over the next 3 years in the NFL? I'll give you my answer on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll talk some beer with Feinswag here in about 15 minutes from right now. We'll head to Knoxville next hour. Wes Rucker will be here to talk about the Vols. How much have they changed since they were here at the box back in April when LSU took 2 out of 3? Of course, it will be LSU Tennessee Saturday, 6 o'clock Central Time from the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. So we will get back to some college baseball talk here in just a few. Brian Kelly in the LSU football program landed another commitment out of a busy recruiting weekend. Another Louisiana prospect, Joel Rogers, a 4-star safety out of Westfeld. It's West Feliciana High School. Committed to LSU Monday evening. So he is a 4-star, 6 foot, 190 pounds. He is the 16th commit for LSU here in the 2024 class. A couple of the specs here on Rogers. So Rogers is a consensus 4-star prospect. He is the number 3. This is from On 3, the number in the composite. The number 353 national player, the 353rd overall player in the country. He's the 31st best safety in the country and the 8th best player in Louisiana for the class of 2024. When you look at some of the offers that he had, I mean, you were talking about, like, squads. And I know we talk about it often, and I say this often, but it's worth repeating. I am most impressed, not necessarily by a star rating or a ranking or anything like that. Mostly when I look at a recruit's profile, I want to see who else offered that player. That will tell, like, If you're LSU and you beat out a bunch of G5 schools, not as impressive. If you're LSU and you get a commitment from Joel Rogers and you beat out Florida State, Miami, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, he had an official visit to Alabama scheduled that he canceled, yes, you have my attention. And Joel Rogers picks LSU over some of those other really big programs. I'll put some context around Joel Rogers here in a second, but one thing is very clear. The LSU roster and this LSU staff just absolutely has to make safety a priority in this class. And it's evident they are doing so already. Again, out of necessity, they are making safety a priority. Remember, last year, you had to go into the transfer portal to get guys like Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks. You had Major Burns coming off an injury. You moved Jay Ward back to safety. Remember, you had a real need at safety a year ago. And you put the Band-Aid over it, and you got some really good performances. But, of course, Joe Fouché's gone. You got Greg Brooks returning, but he played nickel. Is he going to go back and play safety? You got Major Burns back, but can he stay healthy? That's a really big question worth asking this year. And you had to go back into the transfer portal. You went and got Andre Sam. You offered two other safeties that you missed out on, but you get Andre Sam, who we talked about him, a guy was from Iowa, Louisiana, went to McNeese, and then to Marshall. He committed to Tulane, and then was back in the portals, now coming to LSU. But after that, it's Langlois, who's a redshirt sophomore, hasn't played much, mostly due to injury. You got Jordan Allen, who's a redshirt freshman. You got Kylan Jackson. You got Ryan Yates, a couple of true freshmen. Point is, you just don't have a lot of skins on the wall at the safety position. And then when you look ahead to 2024, Brooks and very likely Major Burns are going to be gone, and Andre Sam is in his final season. So you're looking at combination of Langlois, Allen, Jackson, Yates, the guys who haven't played at all, being back for their final season. And I guess you could throw Sage Ryan in there as well, depending on if he ends up playing nickel, dime, or safety. But either way, you have got to attack the safety position for 2024. It's why when you look at this recruiting class for LSU, of the 16 commitments they have, 3 of them are safeties. The second highest rated prospect in the class for LSU right now is Maurice Williams, the safety out of Texas. Deshaun McBride, safety out of Denham Springs, is already committed as well. Juwan Johnson is listed as either a safety or a cornerback out of Lafayette Christian, depending on which scouting service or whatever it may be. And now Joel Rogers, another safety. So either 3 or 4 safeties, depending on where Juwan Johnson ends up playing in college, you've already got committed in this class. So make no mistake, safety is a massive, massive position of need because you don't have a lot of experience there. And the experience you do have right now is going to be gone after the season. So you've got to replenish numbers at that position, and that's why they're working so hard to do it right now. The other thing that I think is pretty fascinating is with this commitment from Joel Rogers, that gives LSU 16 commits. And of the 16 commitments for LSU, 10 of the 16 are from Louisiana. Again, and year to year, it can vary based on position of need. Is it a bumper crop in the state? And years vary. But 10 of your 16 commits already are from Louisiana. Of the top 12 players in the state, 6 have pledged verbally. All 6 have picked LSU. So the top 6 a better way to say it, the top 6 committed prospects in Louisiana for 2024 have all picked LSU. Trades Green has picked LSU. Deshaun McBride, who we mentioned, has picked LSU. Kalaj Cobbins, Juwan Johnson, Joel Rogers. The top committed players in the state, Demyron Johnson, the top committed players in the state have all picked LSU. Kyrie Lee. And then when you look at it beyond that, another 3 are all crystal balled to pick LSU. Dominic McKinley, the top player in the state out of Acadiana, he's a heavy lean toward LSU. Wardell Mack, the number 3 player in the state, heavy lean to LSU. Tylen Singleton, the number 4 player in the state, heavy lean to LSU. The numbers 5, 6, 7, 8 players in the state are already committed to LSU. Kobe Young, wide receiver out of Holy Cross in New Orleans, heavy lean to LSU. Point is, Brian Kelly and his staff, for as much question and concern as there was going to be about his ability to recruit Louisiana and in the SEC, flush that. That is no longer a conversation that even needs to be had whatsoever. Kelly himself has a tremendous track record, and he has very clearly assembled a staff that is more than capable of recruiting the best players in the country nationally while putting a fence around Louisiana and taking care of keeping the best prospects home that you want to keep here. So, job well done. Another Louisiana prospect, 4-star safety Joel Rogers, picks LSU for the class of 2024. All right, it's after further review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. Love telling you about HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. That's HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Servicing the entire state of Louisiana. So no matter where you are in Louisiana, we'd love to help you out. From the smallest roof repair to the biggest roof replacement, it's HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. I want to reiterate this one more thing that I know we've said a bunch, and it's worth mentioning as we get closer and closer to storm season. But fortified roofing is something that if you haven't looked into, if you're a homeowner, you need to. You can save as much as 52% on your homeowner's insurance. As much as 52% on your homeowner's insurance with a fortified roof, depending on who your insurance carrier is. You can get more information, but I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend give us a shout. Go to the website, HUDCOroofing.com. There's a fortified tab on the homepage. Tab it, you can learn more about a fortified roof. HUDCO is the very first ever Louisiana-based fortified roofing company. We've done more fortified roofs than any other roofing company in the state of Louisiana. We're the first to do it. You want to save as much as 52% on your homeowner's insurance, you want to get a fortified roof, you can do it. We can help. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. All right, it's after further review. NBA Finals finished up last night. My guess is Lee Feinswag will have some thoughts on the Joker, Nikola Jokic, and the Nuggets polishing off the franchise's first ever Finals championship. We'll get to that and beer with Lee Feinswag coming up after the break. Bottom of this hour, Tiger Baseball has had a couple of players hit the transfer portal already. We'll talk about that as we circle back to LSU Baseball here in about 15 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Father's Day is around the corner, y'all. Something we always do on Father's Day, or we've done, let me rephrase and say the past couple of years, even before we endorsed Rouse's here. And I was actually talking to Erica last night about this. We're getting the menu together. We host Father's Day at our house. So my dad comes over, brothers, sisters, the whole extended families. And instead of cooking, so nobody has to man the grill on Father's Day or do the cooking, we just let Rouse's take care of it. So they have their whole meat market, and we order brisket and pulled pork and ribs and all the sides, baked beans, mac and cheese, au gratin potatoes, all that sort of stuff. We just order a whole bunch of food at Rouse's, go pick it up on Sunday morning, and heat and serve. It's that easy. So let Rouse's take care of cooking this day, this Father's Day for the whole family. Rouse's.com to find the location nearest you. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
We're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee, how are you?
I'm good, Matt. How you doing?
Doing freaking awesome. LSU's in the College World Series means I got at least another week of baseball content, a week of postmortem. We're just getting closer and closer and closer to SEC football media days. Whenever LSU baseball makes it through June, I'm fired up, man. I'm happy as a pig in slop. Yeah.
Yes, saving you from yourself there.
Yeah,
I knew exactly you were gonna. I knew that you were gonna say until SEC media days. That's what, like middle of July, around 1 month from now.
We will be there. It starts Monday, July the 17th. This is the first day of media days. So
wow.
Yeah, man.
Good.
And then the next week, our Saints report for training camp. The next week, LSU reports for fall camp, and here we go. We're on the hamster wheel.
You know, it's the same movie every year. They just change the actors.
I know. I love it.
That was yeah, but that's one of the reasons why I got out. It was too much. It was like the same thing every year. They just changed the players. But that's a different perspective that you get after however many years. I never had the enthusiasm as late in my life as you do still, and I applaud you for it.
Really? I mean, I'm 41. I mean, now I've been at this since 20.
Yeah, I got out of, you're younger. I got out of the daily newspaper business at 43. But that was when I woke up one day and it's like, it's like I'm watching the same movie every year and they're just changing the actors and it's time to do something different. And I had no idea in what direction it would go. And boy, it's been weird, but it's been good. I've been lucky.
I can totally respect anybody that gets out of their comfort zone and pivots at that point of their professional career. In any, not just in media, in anything. But what's interesting, Lee, I didn't anticipate to go this path, and I'm not even sure if you saw this, but and honestly, I don't know that our audience really is going to care about this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Did you see?
Well, you have me on every week anyway, Matt.
That's touche. Touche. Did you see the Athletic laid off 20 some odd reporters today?
Oh gosh, yes, and ESPN's got a big hatchet coming down as well, and it's just never ending. And it's sad. When I got out, I didn't get out because I knew what was going to happen to the newspaper business. But had I known, that I don't know, I would have felt maybe smarter about it in that regard. But the sports media business is tough, Matt. It's really tough, and it's unfortunate. My entity, Volleyball Magazine, which is volleyballmag.com. We're a niche.
Bell.
But I don't know if you.
Yes, you said the word volleyball. You said the word volleyball.
Well, it's in there. But we're making it as a media entity, but we're a rarity, and it's just it's harder and harder. I feel for those guys at the Athletic, especially the ones who are not late in their careers and ready to get laid off. And the Athletic's done some great stuff.
I don't want to.
I was an ink stain print wretch, as we called ourselves, and a print guy, and just always loved it. And I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and he couldn't believe I don't get the newspaper, that I don't get it delivered, that I read it on the iPad. I go, it's never wet. It's always on time. I can blow the comics up big enough so that I can read them every day. You know.
Yeah.
Well.
I want to be. I don't want to come off in any way callous to those that did lose their job today. Obviously, that sucks. I mean, anyone that's ever been let go, laid off, fired, it sucks. The
Athletic is based on a subscription.
I was getting to a point, because a point that begets a question. But when the Athletic was founded, the premise of the Athletic was, and they went and hired a lot of really talented writers from newspapers all over the country, and their point was, their original intention was to have a dedicated beat writer for every professional sports team in the country, and obviously that extended to college and so on. And they were going to do what newspapers were cutting, right, in employing reporters to cover all these places. And then, of course, they got bought by a newspaper, and then now we're seeing this. I'm curious if you've given any thought to what the future of what you think, the profession you spent many years in might be as far as print media.
Well, in the case of the Athletic, I get to read the stories because I subscribe to the New York Times and read that every day, and it's part of it. But the newspaper business screwed up royally when they gave it all away at the start of the internet, and then newspapers tried to catch up. So you know how, like, sometimes you want to go see, you might hear about a guy who's going to sign with LSU, and he lives in Iowa, and you go to the Iowa newspaper. I'm using this as an example, and it's a paywall. You're like, I'm not going to subscribe to that to go see that. And they've never figured out a way to make it so that, all right, if you're not in that area, you can look at it and have a limited look. And they tried to, the cat was out of the bag when they started making people pay. And so, like, in a lot of walks of life, people think, well, it's like, I'm going to an open air music festival. I get this for free. What, you're going to charge admittance? No, I'm not doing that. And it's the same thing that's happened with a lot of journalism. In the case of the Athletic, I mean, you made reference to what they tried to do. Do you know of, or are you old enough to remember the National?
National.
Okay, so
I don't believe so.
Okay, in the 1980s, I'm pretty sure there was a Brazilian guy with a ton of money, and he started a daily sports newspaper in America called the National. Jeff Marks was one of the people that he got on there.
Okay.
Jeff Marks went to the National, and the salaries were off the charts, and the stuff they did was unbelievable. They hired everybody, Matt. Every city in America, they went in and picked the best 2 or 3 sports writers, and the stuff they did was great. And everybody was living large, and everybody's salaries went up, and there was trickle down across the business. And then one day the guy woke up and said, okay, well, like $7 million was all I was going to put into it. That's it. We're done. And they folded.
Mm.
And Jeff could tell you better stories about it. And that led to Jeff becoming more of a freelancer and the author that he is, because the National went away. And he may correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So this has been tried before, and like with a lot of things, it's like, all right, well, how much money does so-and-so have? And that's how long this entity will last. In the case of the Athletic, is a subscription, but you always had, you always saw, get the Athletic for the next year for $1 a month, or you subscribe to the New York Times and you get to read it. So there's a law of diminishing returns there, and it's unfortunate. We need long-form journalism in America, though. We need it both for sports and for covering politics and cities and all sorts of things, and it's so important. So subscribe to your local newspapers and don't just rely on social media to learn what's happening in the world. It's true. It's true.
I don't disagree. As someone who has a journalism degree, I can certainly understand the value. I will, however, say that quality in many places, standards certainly everywhere, have gone down, and there is a general distrust of the media. And again, I said I used the qualifier general. There's a general distrust,
right?
And I don't think you would disagree with that.
On the local level, more importantly than anything, and now we're getting way off the path, but it's so important to have somebody who covers City Hall, who covers the chief of police, who covers the state police, who covers the politicians, who answers the call when things are going off the track. Somebody's got to write about it or talk about it or do it. That's where it's more important than anything.
I agree. But I also believe that we are in an era where, as media continues to evolve, new media will look different than it did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's just never going to look like that again. And it's going to be incumbent upon people who are in the quote-unquote new media, be it YouTubers or podcasters or bloggers, whether you work independent or for a traditional media company, to have journalistic standards. And unfortunately, not everybody does. So I don't know that we have a solution.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, the long form is still like, for example, tonight is the second round of the 4-part series on Bill Walton, the 30 for 30.
Mm-hmm.
And so ESPN has done its part with those things, for example, and independent filmmakers who do stuff. And by the way, if you didn't see parts 1 and 2, and if you are a fan of Walton, it was really fun, and I'm really looking forward to 3 and 4.
He is an absolutely incredible character. You wrote about Bill Walton in Hoop Daddy, didn't you? Or no?
I did, because Hoop Daddy, which was a book I wrote about father sons in basketball, and of course he had 4 sons who played basketball, and of course Luke coached the Lakers and is an NBA coach, and also an outstanding. Are you ready, Matt? Are you ready?
Volleyball player.
Outstanding beach volleyball player.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
He had a son who played at Princeton, a son who played at San Diego, and of course a son who played at LSU.
Adam, right? Adam Walton played at LSU.
Adam is both in the book and in the 30 for 30, and Adam Walton played here in around 94, 5, right?
No, it was later than that. It was absolutely later than that.
It was.
Adam Walton was in the 2000s.
No, definitely not. He played for Dale Brown.
Oh,
played for Dale Brown. We'll look this up simultaneously.
Okay, no. Okay, here you go. 95, 96, 96, 97.
Yeah.
Where's 2 seasons?
Okay.
Wow, I did not realize that was 30 years ago. Oh, geez.
Adam Walton was a funny guy. One time I was coming to watch practice, and he was showing up late, of course. I was on time. And he comes bopping over. He's wearing his flip-flops, a pair of surf shorts, and a torn-up Grateful Dead shirt that he had stolen from his dad. And Adam Walton is going to play at LSU. This is while he's still in high school. We're at the Final Four, and I see Bill at breakfast and said, Bill, I want to get some quotes from you about Adam Walton because he's going to become at LSU. He goes, He goes, I got to run. He goes, come to my room this afternoon. What time are you going to the game? I said, like 4 o'clock. He said, all right, room whatever. So I get dressed, and I'm wearing my sport coat and shirt and tie and got my briefcase, and I knock on the door, and his wife, Lori, who I know well and know Bill well, and Lori goes, hey, he's on the radio, doing a live radio right now, but he said he knew you were coming, so just come on in. So I walk in, and Bill Walton, all 7 feet of him, is stretched out, sitting on a chair. His legs are crossed. His hand is holding the phone. He's stretched out completely, and the only thing he's wearing is a little white washcloth on his groin.
And they knew you were coming.
And I said, hi, Bill. And he looked at me because he was on the radio. I said, oh, don't get dressed for me. And he did give me, of course, great quotes. And then later I spent a day with him at a commercial set in Pasadena, where when we spent a whole day for Hoop Daddy, the book. But he was such a great player before he got hurt. My gosh, he was great.
Mm.
But to think that he's the same height as it just stuns me as Nikola Jokic.
I was going to say, what were you trying? Were you searching for Jokic? Is that what you were searching for?
Yeah, I'm just just trying to compare the two. They're both six. Walton, I think, was legitimate 6'11", and Jokic is a legitimate 6'11". And Walton, for those of you who never saw him, and just go back and look and see the 77 Trailblazers. He was the perfect basketball player, but he didn't have 75% of what Jokic has in the toolkit and what he can do. He sure as hell couldn't step back to 30 feet and casually hit a three-pointer. That's for damn sure. Oh my gosh,
Jokic is certainly fun to watch. Something I didn't realize until this morning. I was driving here and I was listening to Hester and T-Bob, and they made mention. Of course, I knew Jokic was a second-round draft pick. I'd forgotten or just wasn't aware that was the same draft where Milwaukee took Johnny O'Bryant early in round 2. So Milwaukee took Johnny O'Bryant in round 2 before Nikola Jokic, and Johnny was a great college basketball player. But that was. Yeah. Some context around Jokic.
Such an inexact science. So you'll get a chance to ding again. As we've said before, the Denver Nuggets play-by-play is 1984 Olympic gold medalist Chris Marlowe in volleyball.
Wait, he's the radio play-by-play guy?
Yeah. And what a good team. Did you watch the very end of the match, the game?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the first thing that Jokic did as soon as that match ended?
Oh, he went and hugged all the Miami Heat players.
Every congratulated and respected his
that was a little
before he celebrated.
He may be a genuinely great guy, may very well be. That felt a little gratuitous. Like for the
he was
first
standing
thing,
over there.
The first thing you do is you go to all the Heat players. Like, I'm not saying don't go shake hands and all that stuff, but like the first thing you do, it felt a little gratuitous. Maybe I'm just
standing
cynical.
right by their bench. Well, you are, and I am too.
But I'm not,
I'm
not. I'm not. I actually pride myself on not being filled of total, like completely polluted by cynicism. I like to believe in good winning and the good in people, and I seek that. I'm not a cynic, but that's one of those where you're like, I've seen a lot of these in my life, and that's a rarity to see that guy do that. That just felt a little. I think maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. Maybe I don't know that it was insincere. I don't want to paint it that way.
Well, I was glad to see it.
Yes, for sure.
And
I'm sure last night, we are very late, so I'm sure last night Nikola Jokic drank plenty of beer.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer.
All right, take it away.
All right, I got to catch up by giving you 2 beers each week right now, and this first one is called Dr. Juice from Parish Brewing Company over in Lafayette area. A juicy IPA, 6%, and Matt, you're just going to love this stuff.
I've had it.
Comes in this. Even their own notes say Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze and a soft mouthfeel. Aroma and taste is full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. I think they're overrating the juice part of it. Oh, what a wonderful hazy IPA. Just so nice. And then
the can is really cool too, by the way. It's kind of like you and Bill Walton would love it. It's like a psychedelic sort of look on the can. But it's Dr. Juice is fantastic. It's another Parish Brewing does great stuff. Dr. Juice is amazing.
Well, then heading in the other direction, east, talking about a little psychedelic, the Castle Made of Clouds double IPA by Gnarly Barley.
I got to tell you a story. I have to tell you a story.
God. Juicy, hazy double IPA, 8.5%, and I just liked it so much. This one says, they say, it starts with a citrus up front and cleans up with a punch of pineapple that rounds out with stone fruit and, dare we say, a tiny hint of coconut. I don't know about all that. I'm just telling you, these are 2 fine IPAs. This one's a double, like I said, 8.5%, and both local and both fabulous. So there you go. I hadn't had a Gnarly Barley in a long time.
Erica knows that ever since you and I went on the original beer tour back in 2018 that I've gotten into craft beer. I can't say that I know as much as you or other people do about craft beer, but I like it. And from time to time, she'll reach into a cooler at a grocery store, Rouse's, or wherever it may be, and grab me a local beer, craft beer. And when she does, she buys it purely based on one thing, and one thing only.
Like going to the racetrack and betting on the color of the horse or the blanket.
She will only buy it if she likes the can. And so
I do that.
And so I had Castle Made of Clouds because Erica Moscona thought the can was pretty. That's the only reason I had that beer. And it was really good. Really good.
But isn't it a pretty can, though? And isn't the Dr. Juice a pretty can?
Yeah.
And there you go.
2 really good choices. All right, Lee, thank you.
15 minutes, a highlight of my week. See you, Matt.
We appreciate it. All right. It's AFR. 2 LSU baseball players hit the portal. We'll talk about it next.
AFR.
Want to remind you about River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out. If your home central AC isn't keeping up, River City's 1 hour air can help. Call them at 752-0001. That's what Angela Sneed did. And she set this 5-star Google review. Kevin, the technician, was super polite, very quick to arrive, fixed the problem in less than 30 minutes, and gave me good advice on what to watch for in the future. Great experience with Kevin and River City's 1 hour air. Another 5-star review, that one from Angela Sneed. And yours could be next. If you have trouble with your home central AC, call River City's 1 hour air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You'll see them all over town because your friends and your neighbors and I trust River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along. Wes Rucker covers the Vols, been a good friend of the show for a lot of years. Wes is going to be with us in a little more than half an hour from right now. So we'll go up to Rocky Top, get the latest on Tennessee. A lot of Jay Johnson and some of the LSU players met with the media earlier today. Jordan Thompson even talked about how Tennessee has changed since they saw them a couple of months ago at Alex Box Stadium?
I think that they've just become more of a complete team. Maybe at the beginning of the year they didn't really know their mold at the time or what their lineup wanted to be. Kind of similar to maybe where we were last year, going through type of things where you're just trying to figure things out, and they've gotten to a point where they look like a really good team, and we're obviously in Omaha for a reason. They can win games. They have elite pitching, and they have a really good lineup. So it's going to be a good game. But, I mean, we haven't really looked too much into, like, the last series that we played against them or anything like that. But I know this week we'll be preparing for it for sure.
Kind of want to point out, it's interesting that when Tennessee football won its last national title in 1998, that, of course, was a year after Peyton Manning's last season. Peyton returned for his senior year to much hullabaloo and fanfare. And Tennessee, there was a grand expectation that they'd finally break through and beat Florida and maybe win the national championship. And, of course, they won the SEC, and they got pounded in the Orange Bowl by Scott Frost and Nebraska. And then a year later with T. Martin, Tennessee won the national championship. I certainly hope this Tennessee team does not win the national championship. But there is at least an interesting parallel where the great team everyone expected to win a year ago didn't, and now a year later they are in Omaha when last year they came up short. All right, it's after further review. 2 LSU players have hit the portal. I want to talk about that in a second. Quick reminder about South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. And, of course, Southwest Volkswagen in Lafayette. But Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen on Airline Highway, just north of Highland. So if you're on Airline, you're going north, you pass Highland Road, just about a quarter mile on the left, actually maybe less than a quarter mile on the left. You can't miss it. They are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. If you want that amazing family vehicle, the Atlas, the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV, that's what Erica drives. I drove an Atlas for 3 years and then realized, you know what, I probably don't need that. My third row was always down. I never used it. So I got the Atlas Cross Sport. Takes out the third row, a little bit shorter, sleeker design on the back. Love it. Check it out. It's at South Point Volkswagen. New and certified pre-owned, and the all-new ID4, which is the all-electric SUV for everyone from Volkswagen, and they have them on the lot at South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? So LSU outfielder Josh Stevenson has entered the transfer portal. I don't think this is any great surprise. He was left off the postseason roster. Jason Bowman has also entered the transfer portal. He's a redshirt junior right-hander who did not pitch for LSU this season. So he's been out since the beginning of the year. So 2 players have hit the portal for the Tigers. Stevenson, it's a little bit of a bummer because of the legacy. Of course, Andrew Stevenson, his brother, who's in the bigs or has been in the bigs with the Nationals. You kind of really hope that that will work out for Steven. But Stevenson, this isn't surprising, but it is certainly an illustration of LSU's depth, isn't it? When Stevenson, who played in 40 games last year as a freshman and played in 24 games this season, has hit the portal. And I don't think it's necessarily even so much that Stevenson was beaten out this year. Keep in mind, I mean, you got Dylan Cruz in center field. You've got Braden Jobert, who found a spot in the outfield, needed to be in the lineup because of his bat. Trey Morgan played left field for a bulk of this season because of the way the lineup matched. Josh Pearson is in the outfield. Paxton Kling very well could be a first-round pick next year. You've got immense talent. It's no surprise that Stevenson kind of got bumped down a little bit, but keeping in mind, after this year, Cruz and Morgan and Jobert are likely all gone, so the door would be open for Stevenson as a junior to play until you remember that you've got Kling and Pearson, and really only Mick Paul and Zeb Rudell behind him as far as outfielders, but what else is coming? Right? That's the big question. So I know people have asked me a ton. Hey, man, who's LSU getting in the portal? Well, you don't really know because you don't know who's in the portal yet. The portal window opened, the 45-day portal window opened May 29th. So you're going to start to see as seasons come to an end, now with regionals and super regionals and only 8 teams left standing, you're going to see more of this. You're going to see more and more players enter the portal. But suffice to say, Jay Johnson is not going to be resting. Look at the roster. This is just sort of scratching this on paper. Beloso, Dugas, and Merrifield are all out of eligibility. So you're losing those 3. Cruz, Morgan, Thompson, Jobert, position players that are draft guys that are going to go. Skeens and Floyd certainly are going to be drafted and going to go, obviously. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 9 right there. Other juniors that are likely to be drafted and signed. Little, Money, Edwards, Taylor, who's a draft-eligible sophomore, but could go. We'll see if he comes back. And then Javen Coleman also is a junior who could be drafted and choose to go. That's 5 more there. And then Travinsky and Milazzo are both upperclassmen that have another year but could choose to go. I've heard Travinsky is leaning towards coming back, which would be great. But Ackenhausen, Cooper, Helmers, and Collins all have another year of eligibility as well. Could sign, could come back. And then you've already seen Stevenson and Bowman hit the portal. So Beloso, Dugas, Merrifield, Cruz, Morgan, Thompson, Joubert, Skeens, Floyd. That's 9 for sure, on top of Stevenson and Bowman who've already hit the portal. That's 11. And then potentially Travinsky, Milazzo, Ackenhausen, Cooper, Helmers, Collins, Little, Money, Edwards, Taylor, Coleman. That's another 11. You're talking about you could lose. I think some of those players will obviously be back, but that's 22 names I just rattled off. 22! Like, Jay Johnson is going to have to go hammer the portal this year. You're going to lose a giant chunk of this amazing roster. So, yes, Jay Johnson is going to go hit the portal. So, while you look at Josh Stevenson hitting, I won't have to make that mistake anymore. While Josh Stevenson has hit the transfer portal, and you could say, man, look at all they're losing. There's a great opportunity for him to play next year. To me, that is an even bigger indication of them saying to him, hey, we've got the cavalry on the way, and it's probably going to be like this for you again next year. Which in one way, again, is really encouraging for LSU, considering they're losing all this. But if Stevenson's saying, I'm leaving, you know what's coming. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. We will let you hear from Dennis Allen. Who else spoke today? Derek Carr spoke to the media today after Saints minicamp. So we'll let you hear some of that coming up after the top of the hour. And again, we're heading to Knoxville, talk to Wes Rucker in about 30 minutes from right now. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find it. Agent225.com. That's agent225.com. I've known Darren a long time. And one of the things that he told me years and years ago is, the way he said it is, I want to put myself out of business. Meaning he wants to create a real estate process that is so easy, so beneficial to the client that you don't even need him anymore. And I saw this on social media, and it reminded me of that convo I had with Darren all those years ago. EXP released their top producers for the last month, for May of 2023. And the top 2 producers were on Darren's team, but they weren't Darren. Justin England, Tyler Alexander, 1 and 2, and Darren was 3. And Darren's post was all fired up because this is what he thrives on, helping people grow in their lives and their career. It's an amazing guy. Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Get 3.99% financing at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home, live Baton Rouge. I'm what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. and backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Excited for our coverage from Omaha. Charles and Jimmy taking off. Wheels up on Thursday. So Muse and Max, if you're in Baton Rouge, will be hosting 11 to 1 in the live at lunch slot. Charles and Jimmy will do a special 6 to 8 p.m. show on Thursday in the old game time slot. And then Saturday, Charles and Jimmy will have a pregame show simulcast on both 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Eagle 98.1, leading up to LSU and Tennessee on the network at 5:30. So again, pregame is at 5:30. So Charles and Jimmy will start at 3. So we'll be live from Omaha, Nebraska, from 3 all the way through the game. So we're looking forward to that. Tons of coverage from Omaha for the College World Series. All right, Muse, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, let's start with Major League Baseball. I think our guy is back.
Let's go!
Yeah, I think Lang has found it again. Had that rough stint when they faced the Phillies in that series. Blew a couple saves. The ERA skyrocketed a little bit. Got a hold the other night, and last night got the victory over the Braves, his 4th win of the year. How about a 4-pitch 9th inning? Or excuse me, a 4-pitch 10th inning, I should say, for Alex Lang. 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks,
yeah, 4
strikeouts.
Yeah,
4 pitches.
4 pitches, yeah.
3 of them for strikes. 4th double in the year. Shout out Lang.
That boy.
Joe Burrow met with the media today and wanted to talk about everything except his contract talks. Quote, I think I've given you guys all the information I'm comfortable with sharing about that process. So as far as questions go about that, I'll probably save that for another time. Joe Burrow, of course, did say a couple weeks ago that he's been very clear on what he wants to the team, the contract, and they are on the road to making that happen. So while he's not willing to talk about it, just keep an eye out for any news that might break. Remember when Devin White requested a trade from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
That happened this offseason. Well, 45 is not participating in mandatory minicamp.
Bring him home.
Todd Bowles.
Let's go.
Is saying NBD, though. Todd Bowles says, we'd like to see where he is physically.
Bring him home.
Because he didn't participate in OTAs.
Bring him home.
They don't need him out there.
Let's go.
So 2 or 3 days of camp.
LFG.
We'll see where he's at after there. Okay, Todd Bowles. Is that one of those things where you're laughing so you don't cry potentially there? It's not a big deal that he's not participating. It's not a hold-in.
I don't know.
Guy just went public and requested a trade. See what happens with Devin White. The U.S. Open gets underway on Thursday at L.A. Country Club. Sam Burns in the field. He will tee off 1:32 p.m. Pacific time. So, obviously that means 11:32 Central Time here. Paired with Dustin Johnson and Keith Mitchell is Sam Burns, looking to win that first major, which has been elusive for him so far. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. That's lmfj.com. Gentlemen, if you are thinking of popping the question, there's only one place to go. It's Lee Michaels. It's where Baton Rouge and really all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for 40 years. lmfj.com. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard. They're in Bocage and inside of the Mall of Louisiana, but they're in New Orleans, they're in Lafayette, they're in Shreveport. 9 locations in all. Find the Lee Michaels nearest you at lmfj.com, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. If you miss anything, you can catch AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Thanks to Brooke Kirchhoffer, who's here in Hour 1, recapping Saints minicamp today. Lee was earlier this hour. Talked about LSU adding a football commit for the class of 2024. When we come back right after the top of the hour, we'll let you hear from Dennis Allen, and then we head to Rocky Top to chat with Wes Rucker. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Traction. Was there today. Get him a swole on. Can you tell? Can you tell? That's all right. You don't have to. Just a middle-aged guy trying to stay in shape, like many of you. And Traction can help you do that. If you want personal training or small group training, Traction offers that. And it doesn't matter your level of fitness. It does also provide opportunities if you're a world-class athlete and you want to get ready for your NFL or NBA or MLB season. They do that as well. When I was there this morning working out, the Parkview softball team and the St. Joseph soccer team were training with the whole team training there. So if you want team training, they do that at Traction. Maybe you want your son or daughter to get sport-specific training, individual or small group. They do that as well at Traction. TractionSports.com. They say where champions are made. Champions in whatever sport at whatever level it may be. Traction can help. And Traction Summer Baseball Camp's going on right now. Register today. TractionSports.com.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. The cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clash and chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A little confusion on this first day of practice at Bills' mandatory minicamp. Top receiver Stephon Diggs was not there. Coach Sean McDermott called the absence very concerning. The Bills did confirm Diggs was at the team's facility yesterday and this morning, then left before practice. Diggs, who made some cryptic posts via social media this offseason and was quite demonstrative on the sideline during the AFC divisional playoff loss, hasn't commented publicly on why he was a no-show. ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck.
One of the things you heard about Josh Allen saying, maybe the team could communicate better. And usually when that stuff happens is somebody's unhappy, you leave at the end of the season, and then it never gets settled. And the next thing you know, it was just like, yep, season ended, we're moving on, I'll catch you in June. And for a lot of guys, that just festers, you know what I mean? It just builds up, and now all of a sudden, maybe becomes a bigger issue than it even ever needed to be.
Panthers won't announce whether injured star Matthew Tkachuk will play in a must-win Game 5 Stanley Cup final until puck drop tonight against Vegas. Florida, a plus 162 underdog. The Rangers hired Peter Laviolette as their new coach. He gets a 3-year contract.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We will head to Rocky Top in less than 15 minutes. Wes Rucker will join us. We'll talk about the Vols. How much has that team changed since they were in Baton Rouge 2 months ago? LSU, Tennessee from Omaha, Saturday, 6 p.m. Tigers are wheels up tomorrow morning. Workout today. Actually, as a matter of fact, Muse, would you play this? Jay Johnson was asked about the schedule for the weekend. This was earlier Tuesdays. Jay Johnson kind of laid out the week.
Yeah, we're going to work out today. Kind of found a sweet spot of timing that's worked really well for us since they've been out of school. It allows for the right work to be done, the recovery, all of that type of stuff. You know, we'll be doing our scouting and stuff like that. And then tomorrow, we'll leave tomorrow morning. We'll have a light workout tomorrow just to kind of, hey, we're going to get off the plane and, you know, do the deals that come with coming to the College World Series, but then we're going to go practice. Got a lot of bullpens that need to be thrown tomorrow. Hitters have some things that we want to do. Thursday, we'll practice in the stadium, and then Friday, we'll have another workout, kind of like a normal practice that we've been having here throughout the postseason, and then tee it up on Saturday.
So LSU has their schedule ahead. There's two different ways to look at playing in bracket 2, which means you play on Saturday. Obviously, if you make it to the championship series, you have one fewer rest day than the teams that play on Friday. You could That's potential. You could potentially end up playing back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday. You could play back-to-back Monday, Tuesday if you lose. So there are situations where you could end up playing the back-to-back days, and it could be, I don't know that I would say detrimental. It's just how you manage it. And Jay said it kind of plays out like a regional would. So, especially after you get those first two games. So just go take care of business. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Saints were back on the practice field today on Tuesday for a 3-day mini camp. You can tell the spring, everything is just building toward this summer whenever they'll hit the practice field for training camp in late July, then preseason, then, of course, the season. Dennis Allen had this to say about the first day of mini camp.
Good day today. Had everybody out here. Got some good work, some good, 2-minute work. So, again, this is just part of the process of us getting better as a football team. And guys are out here working and grinding, and we got a long way to go, but like the direction we're headed.
One of the really interesting things that happened today is Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill was out there throwing passes, working with the quarterbacks. So what gives with Taysom Hill working with both tight ends and quarterbacks?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's kind of been his role since he's been here, and we're going to utilize him in a lot of different roles. He's a weapon offensively for us that can do a lot of different things, and so, our thought is to get him involved in a lot of different areas.
I am perfectly fine with getting Taysom Hill involved in a lot of different areas. And yes, he has utilized a lot of roles. And last year, whenever there was this idea that Taysom Hill was just going to be a tight end, one of the things that we said repeatedly here was you can call him whatever you want to call him. You can call him a tight end. You can call him an H-back. You can call him a fullback. You can call him a punter. I don't care what you call him. What we knew Taysom Hill was going to do was still fill the Taysom Hill role, which he did. He lined up as a punter, but he ran the ball. He lined up in that wildcat formation. He's done that and is going to continue to do that for as long as he plays for the New Orleans Saints. That's why they paid him. The contract they gave him was incentivized to where if he did in fact become a quarterback, which he's never going to be, and we know that. But it is still odd though to see Taysom Hill working out with the quarterbacks at practice. Now, for whatever it is worth, in the 16 games that he played a year ago, he had 9 receptions, and I'm looking for his rushing attempts, 96 rushing attempts. He is going to be far more of a runner than he is going to be a pass catcher or certainly a passer. So if you got that trick in your bag that you want to dial up every now and again, you can have it, but understand Taysom Hill is not going to be a quarterback. Rashid Shaheed has a groin issue. He wasn't available. That's really all that they said. Not serious, though. Marshawn Lattimore, who was not there for parts of OTAs, was there today for minicamp, and that was fantastic to see. Here was Dennis Allen on his starting cornerback.
Yeah, the expectation is for him to perform at an elite level. He's got that ability, and so that's our expectation. I think you ask anybody out here, we need him to perform at an elite level to be the type of defense that we can be, and so I think that's our expectation of him. I think that's his expectation of himself.
Look, the conversation about Kamara is so interesting. About Lattimore is so interesting because a year ago the expectation was that Lattimore was going to get suspended, and that suspension never came. But throughout camp, we were talking about how Lattimore maybe being suspended. There were injury issues, and then they traded Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and we're all looking around going, what in the world? Who is going to play? And ultimately, Paulson Adebo was the star of camp. Now, he got injured early in the season. They drafted Alontae Taylor, who had a great rookie year, and Lattimore missed half the season due to injury, but was never suspended. So I am going to be fascinated to watch this secondary. If you have a healthy Lattimore, if you have a healthy Adebo, if Alontae Taylor continues his progression, if your starting safeties and Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May, are both healthy and play the entire of the season. Tyrann did. Marcus May missed time last year. But Marcus May is also a guy who's facing some off-the-field issues that could come with discipline. That secondary could be fantastic if they're healthy and available. But the giant question is, if they're healthy and available. And then the other part of that clearly is Alvin Kamara, who we just all know the situation with Alvin Kamara. He could miss 6 games. They signed a running back. They drafted a running back. His days in New Orleans appear to be numbered, but he's still under contract and still feels like he's got a lot to prove. Dennis Allen was asked if this whole situation with Kamara, meaning signing Jamal Williams, drafting Kendre Miller, the possibility, all the legal situation going around, that if it's affected Kamara's play at all. Here's what he said.
No, I really haven't. I think, one of the great things about professional athletes is when they step in between the white lines, they're able to compartmentalize and focus on the task at hand. And I think he's done a great job of every time he comes out here to practice or play in a game, he's focused on the task at hand.
But similarly, if you're in New Orleans, you've got a plan for what feels like an inevitability of being without Alvin Kamara for at least 6 games this year. Here's what Dennis Allen has to say about the plan without Alvin Kamara.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We've got thoughts and ideas in our mind in terms of how we react to whatever we're dealing with. And so we're not going to worry too much about a lot of things that we don't really control. We're going to focus on getting better as a football team, and we'll adjust however need be.
And we'll give you one more, and this is what Derek Carr had to say about working with Alvin Kamara.
What a great guy. I just absolutely love him. Great teammate, great energy about him, and very explosive. He's so smooth on film. You really just don't know how good he is. Obviously you see the film, but then when you get in person, he ran a couple routes. I remember I looked at Jake today and I was like, bro, that's not normal, And you just feel his presence when he's on the field. We were able to hit him on a couple little routes and things like that and see him move. And, I think just being around him just for a little bit, in the building, people don't really know how smart he is at football. What he knows where to see, he knows what route to run, he knows where to get, he knows how to use his help. And, that combined with his athletic ability, you see why now he's had all that production. And so, we've been talking, the whole time, but it was cool to see him in person.
Derek Carr says all the right things. You could tell he's a savvy veteran. He's a great leader, and guys are going to rally behind him. Can he lead this team where we all hope they can go? That process is beginning now with the on-field work. Minicamp this week, 3-day minicamp, and we're steamrolling toward this summer when they report for training camp. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll head up to Knoxville. We'll talk to Wes Rucker, preview the Vols. Stick around, AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 great hotel properties in Baton Rouge, including the Watermark, which is downtown, which is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. The original skyscraper in downtown Baton Rouge, the old Louisiana National Bank building, which is now the Watermark Hotel. They've preserved so much of the history of the building, the marbling, a lot of the artwork in it. It's beautiful if you've never been in. But it's also been modernized, and man, it is so exquisite to walk through the Watermark Hotel. Maybe you just want a cocktail after work, or it's a night on the town and you want a drink before dinner. Go hang out at the Watermark Bar, a gorgeous lobby bar. Also, the Gregory is the restaurant inside of the Watermark Hotel, which is an exquisite dining experience. They have a charcoal oven in the Gregory. So when you walk into the lobby, the smells, the aromas just waft through the air. It's amazing. It's the Gregory inside the Watermark Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we now know Tigers Vols, 6 o'clock Saturday from Schwab there in Omaha, Nebraska. Wes Rucker covers the Vols, has for a long time. Been a good friend of the show for a lot of years. He's on Twitter at WesRucker247. I'll give him a follow. Wes, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Doing all right, guys. Bit of a late night last night, but hanging in.
Was there much doubt or apprehension there in Knoxville after Tennessee lost Game 1 of the Supers?
Oh, there absolutely was.
Okay.
There's no question. And then to complicate that, you fall behind 4-0 early in the second game. You know that crowd at Hattiesburg is kind of swarming, ready for blood. And yeah, I mean there's been a lot of apprehension at times this season. There was certainly a lot then. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who thought they were going to come back and do what they did, scoring 13 straight to win the series, but I wasn't one of them. I thought they kind of looked cooked there for a while, but I thought that before, and here they are.
Man, baseball is such a weird game. Tennessee was by far and away the best team in college baseball last year. Didn't get to Omaha. Now here, this team is. At some point, we'll put everything in context when the season's over, but can you kind of help put some context around this Tennessee team doing what last year's team fell short of?
Sure. I mean, it's they came into the season ranked second nationally, right? Everybody was talking about LSU and Tennessee. They're talking about LSU's offense and Tennessee's pitching staff, and the pitching staff has mostly been about what you think it would be. It's been up near the top in ERA, strikeouts again nationally. But Tennessee had 10 players drafted last season. I think that was the most in college baseball, and they had to replace basically the entire offense. And so the talent was there, but it didn't quite gel together at first, right? You had some guys who were younger and getting an opportunity. You had some transfers who came in. You had a hodgepodge of guys there, and it took them a while to kind of find their stride, and they couldn't win on the road at all really until a month ago. But they got where a lot of people thought they were going to get. It took them a hell of a lot longer to get there.
So I'm glad you brought up the pitching, which is obviously a huge part. I mean, there's 4 giant arms that we all know, and there's great depth there. But when LSU saw Tennessee in Baton Rouge, Dolander was still at the front of the rotation. We now know Andrew Lindsay's been that guy for a while. Wes, is the expectation that it's going to be Lindsay against LSU, or is Tony Vitello going to shake this thing up?
I don't think he'll shake it up. I think they've kind of found something there because it really changed their season when they moved Lindsay into the Friday role, moved Burns to the bullpen, and moved Dolander back to Saturdays. That really, you hate to look at any one thing as just, hey, man, this fixed everything. But that was a big part of it. And Lindsey's a guy who, like them, like everyone else on Tennessee staff, it seems, throws upper 90s. And he spins the ball really well. That's the thing about Lindsey is that going into the season, I got to see some of Tennessee's TrackMan numbers, and his spin rates on his fastball and his curveball or slider are like 400 RPM higher than the major league average. Like, he really spins the ball, and he's got good stuff. And he's been sort of, he wasn't great in Hattiesburg, but he'd been really, really good until then, was exceptional at Clemson. So I imagine it'll be him again, but nothing would shock me. But if I'm them, I probably stick with Lindsey, and I think they will.
I guess you answered the question, but does facing Paul Skeens change the strategy at all, or should facing Paul Skeens change the strategy at all?
I don't think it will, because I think that they started to look at things as kind of, there are some outliers, right? Like Paul Skeens is an outlier. He's a superhuman. He's an alien. Everybody knows that. Playing LSU when he's pitching and when he's not pitching, I think everybody down there knows. I don't need to tell anybody the difference that's been at times this year. But Tennessee, for the most part, just kind of worries about what they can do. They play matchups occasionally, but they've mostly got their everyday lineup. They've mostly got their pitching rotation, and they kind of trust in the guys that they have. So as analytical as Vitello is, I still don't see any great big change. I mean, the past couple of weeks, they've kind of stuck to the same thing. So I would imagine it would be Lindsey and then Dolander. But, would it shock me if Dolander walked in there and said, I want the ball against Skeens? No, it wouldn't shock me. But I also think Tennessee will probably stick with Lindsey.
When you have, and Wes Rucker's our guest on Twitter at WesRucker247. When you have Lindsey and Dolander and Burns and Beam, and you have that much depth, not just depth, but like top tier arms, does it change the way that you think about or approach the College World Series, given that you have the depth to potentially come out of a loser's bracket in this format?
Oh, there's no question. And that's something that, if Tennessee had won that first game there in Hoover, I think Tennessee could have gone on a nice run. They just, A&M was super hot at the time. A&M kind of threw the soft toss and lefty that traditionally gives this lineup a lot of problems because Tennessee is so left-hand dominant in the lineup. Maybe the most left-hand dominant lineup I've ever seen, really. They can't find another righty. They've tried. But I think that if they can get into like an extended series there, and that's why it's unfortunate for them in some ways that they get Skeens off the bat, because the longer this thing goes, the better it is for Tennessee. Because you saw, they're at the end of that regional at Clemson. Everybody's across the country is begging for trying to find a decent arm to throw out there. And Tennessee gives the ball to A.J. Russell, a 6'6" freshman who throws like 99, because he hadn't pitched all weekend. And they were like, well, let's get him in there for at least an inning. I mean, they've got a ridiculous, I call it their arm farm, is what they've got there. They just got a bunch of dudes. But if you lose 2 games, that doesn't really matter. Right. But if they can kind of get into this thing and extend this run, then, yeah, they have a chance to win the whole thing, because when other people run out of arms, they won't.
What's your perception of this LSU team?
Incredibly fun to watch, very, very dynamic. It's kind of like a little bit the way Tennessee was last season, just a team that you just want to watch because there's so many freaking dudes on that team. I mean, and now you got guys like Trubisky showing up and doing what he's doing. I mean, they're blessed down there. You got a couple of vets down there like Beloso and those guys who've been doing it for, it seems like 13 years. And now that they've got some answers in the bullpen and figuring that out a little bit, it's a dangerous team. I mean, when Skeens is pitching, you're going to have a hell of a hard time beating him. But now, if Floyd can get a little more consistent, if they can figure out some things there at the back end of the bullpen and keep that solid, I think that's a team that could win the whole thing. I mean, Wake Forest has been dominant all year, but I still think, to my mind, when you just watch them play the game, LSU, Florida, and Tennessee are the 3 that stand out for me in terms of like, damn, that's a lot of dudes.
And there's something to be said for going through the meat grinder of the SEC. I mean, that's something I think everybody who covers this league understands that other leagues don't have to go through, Wes. It's just, what are you going to do when you're up against the dominant? Like that. I don't know if you agree with this. That's my biggest question for Wake Forest. Are they a deep, talented team? Yes. They have not been in any way pushed all year. So what do you do when you're up against it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, and you saw that a little bit with Tennessee and Clemson, right? I mean,
great point.
Tennessee was a team that was kind of expected to be dominant. It wasn't at the beginning of the year. It got really good late, but it was still, by the end of the year, a middle-of-the-road SEC team. And then Clemson won, 21 of 22 or something stupid going into that regional. And Tennessee got a break there in the ninth inning with that 3-run homer on their last strike. But really, I mean, if they had played again on that final day, they had to beat Tennessee twice. I don't think they could have done it because of Tennessee's number of arms. So, yeah, I think there is something to be said for that. Plus, as anybody who knows college baseball, and the state of Louisiana's got some of the best, maybe the best college baseball fans on earth. They know as well as anyone that number one seed curse is real, man.
Yeah, man.
It just is. Like no number one seed. Like last season, I had multiple scouts. I promise you, multiple scouts tell me that last year's Tennessee baseball team was the best college baseball team they had ever seen in terms of the lineup, the rotation, the arms, the power, everything. They just were exceptional. And they got stumbled by a team at Notre Dame that had a bunch of 30-year-old looking dudes who had a good weekend and made the plays and beat Tennessee. So, anything can happen with that number one seed. That's kind of a curse. But, yeah, I mean, I think Wake's really, really good, and they're going to be hard out for anybody. But these teams that have made it through the grinder of the SEC, they, history says they do pretty well in Omaha, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's been a minute since LSU's been, so it's fun to be talking about again. I got a couple more. Number one, aside from the rotation, which we already talked about, what's the biggest difference between Tennessee now and when LSU fans saw them at the box back in April?
I think they've gotten a couple guys going. Zane Denton, the third baseman, has really come on and played well and kind of continued that tradition of Tennessee having just great third basemen for like 6 or 7 years in a row now. I think Maui Ahuna's gotten a lot more comfortable, and you're finally starting to see what kind of player he is. There's other guys, though, like Blake Burke, who have not been hitting quite as well as they were early in the year. But then Burke hits, a 480-foot tank down there at Hattiesburg that blasted off the church. I mean, that guy's power is just absurd. His exit velocity numbers are just stupid. So I think Tennessee's got a little more length in the lineup than it had been. I think it's got a bit of a better planned pitching, and maybe the biggest thing overall, they're playing defense. Like early in the season, they were kicking the ball around, little bad news Bears-ish. But now they've kind of gotten it figured out. They're in a rhythm. They know where they're going to be. Emsley stabilized the thing in center field. Scott's great in right field. They've got some guys that they're going to give you problems. Like I still think there are two guys in the SEC who I think were the most underrated players in the league. The Jackson Gray at Kentucky, I think that guy's phenomenal. And then Jared Dickey at Tennessee, just all he does is hit. And he'll end up being maybe a second-round pick this year. And that dude is just a really, really tough out there in the 3 spot. So Tennessee's certainly a more confident team than it was then. And as many LSU fans are going to be in Omaha, it's still not, it's not, you're not in the box, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's going to be more purple than anything else in Omaha, but it's not the box. So I think Tennessee will probably have a little bit better chance, despite the fact that they're facing a superhuman on the mound.
That atmosphere that Thursday night at the box behind Skeens was pretty incredible for a regular season game.
I'm telling you, from sitting there watching it, it's just one of those things where I would have paid King Solomon's gold to be there. It would have been fantastic.
Hey, before you go, if there's a realistic blueprint for Tennessee against LSU on Saturday, I mean, obviously aside from Paul Skeens twists an ankle and Lindsey throws a no-hitter, but what's a realistic blueprint for Tennessee on Saturday?
I'm gonna go with the old Skip Bertman here. Score first. I think that's in a big game, electricity in the air, kind of a lot of vibes, a lot of anxiety. Score first. If you can run into one against Skeens in the first couple innings and you can go up on them, I think that maybe could be really, really good for Tennessee. That LSU lineup is dangerous. It's going to score. There's no question. But if you're Tennessee, it almost feels like for a team that came into the season ranked number 2 nationally and had a lot of expectations, people kind of forgot about them when they stumbled out of the gate. They're kind of playing with house money in some ways now, despite having all those guys. So I think they're a dangerous team. I still would pick LSU to win that game because Skeens is amazing. But if you're Tennessee and you want a chance, man, gear up for the fastball, try to jump on one, ride it out of the park, and, maybe you can put pressure on LSU. I mean, Tennessee's one of the top home run hitting teams in the country again, so run into one early and put pressure on them. That's what I do. That's what I'd want to do.
He is Wes Rucker. We appreciate it, Wes. Thanks so much for the time, man.
No problem. Anytime, guys.
All right, be well. At Wes Rucker 247 is where you can get him on Twitter. There's a lot of really good baseball writers in the SEC. I mean, this league has been more relevant in college baseball than any other league for the longest amount of time, right? So there's just more resources put behind facilities and recruiting and everything, but that also goes with media as well. Like, there's just more people that cover the league closely because more people are interested in the league. And Wes is as good as there is in the SEC covering the league. So appreciate him. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020. 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Go for that consultation. Go sit down with Dr. Blake Williamson. Let him explain your options to you. You know, whatever your hesitation may be, for years. You know, I had glasses when I was in the 6th grade, contacts when I was in the 8th grade, couldn't see my hand in front of my face. For years, I was always told, LASIK wears off, you're not a good candidate for it, your prescription changes too much. All things that turned out to be completely false. I was a perfect candidate for LASIK. LASIK doesn't actually wear off, as I've learned. It just accounts for about 10% of your eye. So you could have other issues later in life as the other parts of your eye age, but there are options for that as well. I've told you before, like Hester. Hester had LASIK when he was playing ball, and here recently had PRK at the Williamson Eye Center. Doesn't need glasses anymore. So you want to see 2020 without contacts or glasses, go for that consultation. Go to the best, the Williamson Eye Center, more than 70 years, 3 generations, WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Been a busy show, man. There's still a good bit to go with Otter Locks coming up in about 15 minutes. See what the Otters got on tap for tonight with the NBA Finals now in the rearview mirror. Plenty of Major League Baseball and obviously the College World Series ahead. Probably look at some of those futures odds. We'll come back. Let's hear a little bit more of what Jay Johnson, Gavin Guidry, and Jordan Thompson all had to say here on the final day before LSU takes off for Omaha. And, of course, Denver Nuggets. Haven't talked about it yet, but Denver Nuggets claimed the franchise's first ever NBA title. Have you heard the game-winning call from the Denver play-by-play guy? Suffice to say, we might have to have a conversation about if this is the worst game-winning, championship-winning call ever. We'll play for you next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, I want to take 60 seconds to remind you about Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs that we tell you about all the time. Hey, look, there's so much at Clegg's. Full greenhouses. You want to go get those summer flowers, you can do it. Father's Day's this weekend. Maybe you're going to be having family over. Great way to beautify your outdoor spaces. Clegg's has got you covered. Remember, also, they've got outdoor decor. If you want garden flags or doormats for outside, if you want wind chimes and bird feeders, they got all that as well. Maybe dad's a green thumb or loves to work in the yard. Clegg's gift card could be a great present for dad, Father's Day present for dad. And remember, Clegg's is also partnered with True Value Hardware Store. Like, we had a floodlight go out, popped into Clegg's on Siegen, bought a floodlight. I mean, duct tape, bug spray, everything that you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, gas cans, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So, get on by and see our friends today at any of 4 great Clegg's locations. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special. Grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us
every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, so the Denver Nuggets are NBA champions. Congrats to them. I don't mean to make light of this, but there was such a celebration last night that there was like literal violence in Denver. People were shot, and sincere hopes that everyone's okay there. The weird thing is that I don't know that I've seen a less emphatic radio call or superstar. Like, for example, here was Nikola Jokic after the NBA Finals.
And now you are an NBA champion, Nikola. How does that feel?
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
He said, it's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now. Like, Nikola Jokic, I don't know if you heard about this. Did you hear this? Like, he's pissed off that they're having a parade. Did you hear about this? Like, he's pissed there's a parade because he wants to go, like, back to Serbia or whatever. Yeah, like, he's ticked. He doesn't want to go to the parade. I mean, dude's been in the NBA for a decade. He's grinded. They've been close. He's won multiple MVPs. He finally gets to the top of the mountain. It was so weird. I was watching last night because I like to watch championship celebrations just because it's something that you probably could have recall on for a lot of years. Like, this is something, the Jokic lack of emotion is something we'll probably talk about forever, right? So you never know when you're going to get something like that. So that was really interesting. But to have the superstar player downplayed, I was watching last night, and Jokic is leaving the floor, and he didn't have the hat or the championship hat or shirt on. Like the ABC camera show him walking into the tunnel back to the locker room. He did not have on the hat or the shirt. I'm like, look.
Yeah, look at him.
He's
got the towel.
It was so bizarre. I mean, wouldn't you, like, you would think as the superstar player, 2-time MVP, you've won the NBA Finals for the first time, this coronation happens, wouldn't you think you'd be, like, basking in it, soaking it in a little more? I don't know, maybe not. But then there was, I don't know his name. Do we know the
I don't know his name. I'm also not.
I got it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Nuggets radio play-by-play, and Lee even said it earlier. His name is, here we go, the Denver Nuggets radio play-by-play man. If this loads, it doesn't matter. This isn't loading. So anyway, this was his call, and the really he starts off so good. Mm-hmm. He starts off really, really good. And then it went really, really bad. Just listen. Nuggets play-by-play man, Jason Kosmicki, Kosmicka. Jason Kosmicki is the Nuggets play-by-play guy. Here you go. Give a listen.
And here we go. Lowry looks in. Inbound. Over to Strus. Lowry 3. That one misses. Rebound down to KCP. 8 seconds left to go. Casey's across the timeline. And he'll dribble it out. The 47-year wait is over. The Denver Nuggets stand on top of the NBA world.
Stop it. Okay. You hear that and you're like, Scone, what's wrong with that, right? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Nailed it.
He didn't nail it. He just completely fell on the dismount. He face planted on the dismount.
They are champions. And Nuggets fans from sea to shining sea can rest or die in peace.
Why did he go Undertaker on it at the end there?
I feel bad for him. You know, in a career, you may only get one of those. Some never get it. And that call, when it comes, is going to live forever. And you can't practice it. Because as much as you may think I'm going to plan and practice what I'm going to say, until the moment plays out, how it plays out, you never know exactly how that moment's going to go. What if they won it on a three-pointer at the buzzer? What if they won it in a 40-point blowout? They ended up winning it in a really close game. Like, you can't have something scripted in that moment. It just doesn't work. You can maybe have an idea of what you'd like to convey, but it's going to happen organically. And he was so good, and if he had just stopped, he'd have been there. But it's like people that don't know how to get off the phone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who just don't know how to end a conversation. That's what that was like. Then you're like, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna go now, and we'll probably talk. I would guess, or maybe you can call me, or what's up, and then it gets really awkward because you don't know how to just say, okay, bye, and hang up the phone. The guy killed off the whole fan base. He's like, yeah, it was a great call until he said, now we can celebrate or die in peace.
He punctuated the call 3 different times. Yeah. 2 of them were good. And then...
Play it again. Play the end again. Play the end again.
And Nuggets fans from sea to shining sea can rest or die in peace.
It was melodramatic. I mean, it was very Shakespearean there. Or die in peace. It reminded me of the poor fellow who called the Mississippi State National Championship. Keep in mind, Mississippi State waited 126 years for a team championship. 126 years they waited for a team championship. 2 years ago, they got it in baseball. This was the call.
Nolan bunts up the third base line to James. The throw across the diamond. He got him! And it took 126 years, but doggone it, Mississippi State finally has a national title. The first team title in any sport in school history. Mississippi State knocks off the defending national champion Vanderbilt Commodores 9-0.
Who's that guy?
No, that's not it. I don't know him. No, what is that? Hold on. What is
that guy? Nailed it. Hire him.
That was Kevin Kugler on Westwood One. That was Kevin Kugler on West. That makes sense.
Because that was great.
Kevin Kugler nailed it. Kevin Kugler nailed it. The Jim Ellis, the Mississippi State radio guy, Jim Ellis did not, however, nail it. That was unfortunate. I don't have it. And anyway, but congrats to Kevin Kugler. on nailing the Mississippi State call.
Hire that guy.
Essentially, Jim Ellis said, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Remember it was a close play. They didn't know if he got him or not. Originally, he called the guy safe, and then he's like, oh, no, they got him. I'll take it. I actually think that one's worse than what the Nuggets guy did. You can salvage the Nuggets call. You can never salvage, he's safe, no, he's out, I'll take it.
Unless if you kill off an entire fan base.
But you just edit that part out. He'll know he did it, but the generation of Nuggets fans that come after and they hear the edited call, they won't know that.
Like how LSU edited the Bluegrass Miracle call?
Exactly how LSU edited the Bluegrass Miracle call.
Why would you do that? Why would you, let the call be what it is?
Yeah, because their edited version takes away from the actual excitement that was Jim Hawthorne's call. But, there's no excitement in this.
And Nuggets fans from sea to shining sea can rest or die in peace.
Actually, please edit that out.
What?
Please take that away.
What? Can you imagine listening and you're fired up? For so long, Jim Hawthorne, but the ringtone on my cell phone was the final call of the 2003 National Championship. When, of course, LSU beat Oklahoma on a punt. Donnie Jones punted the ball and the clock ran out and Jim's counting down. 3, 2, 1, Tigers are the national champions. That was the ringtone on my phone. Nuggets fans, you're going to want that call forever. And it's something you wait forever for. And then there's this.
And Nuggets fans from sea to shining sea can rest or die in peace.
The exasperated or die in peace. I'd love to talk to him about it. Muse, why don't you reach out to him, see if we can get him on the show.
What's his name? Jason what?
The Kamicki or something
like
that.
Just,
you can find it. Look at it. I'd like to have him on the show. But you won a championship. So, okay, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, with 30 offices across 11 different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. I always encourage you to get to the website. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. But at Michelli, they're also hiring. So whether it's the New Orleans office there in Harahan, whether it's the calibration labs in Baton Rouge, any of the 6 labs across the state of Louisiana, or any of their 30 labs across the country, Michelli could be looking for you. If you want to start your career with an innovative company primed for growth, locally owned and operated, put your skills to use, Michelli Weighing and Measurement can help. Apply now online, see what careers are available. They even have a great program as part of the Department of Defense program with veterans who are learning how to use their skills, your skills, whether you're still in the military or if you're already back into civilian life. If you want to use the skills you gained in the military on a rewarding career, Michelli can help. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. Come back. We'll do Otter Locks next. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Tuesdays are a great night to get by Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Every night's a great night to get by Pluckers, but Tuesday, kids eat free. It's summer. Maybe the kids are driving you crazy. Maybe you'd love to just get out and do something as a family and do it affordably. Kids eat free at Tuesday, every Tuesday at either Pluckers location. Nicholson, just south of campus, and Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. If you want to watch your favorite sporting event, full slate of MLB games. If you're looking for a place to watch the College World Series once it gets started, remember, Pluckers open until midnight or later every night of the week. So you want to play hooky at work on Friday for the early games. You want to go have a Saturday night and watch the Tiger games. You could do that at either Pluckers location with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. It's at Pluckers. Dine in, carry out, or delivery at Pluckers. Kids eat free tonight and every Tuesday. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Corvette Toyota in Appaloosa,
Lucis, I'm happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott-father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Great, Matthew. How about you, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Excited for a College World Series this weekend. You got any futures bets on the CWS right now?
Yes, some left over. I got Florida before it started at 8-1, and at TCU last week at 18-1.
Okay.
So those are those are still alive. I may hedge as soon as if TCU beats Oral Roberts. So Oral Roberts got a lot of 4 and 5 year players. Kind of the COVID boom. So and they won 23 of 24. The one they lost are up 8-0. The biggest blown lead in the history of Super Regionals. I got a special one for you tonight. Let's go.
Okay.
Here we go. Dodgers first 5. Gonsolin. Okay. In that short, he's been dominating there. Padres, they're kind of showing signs that they're gonna, about to make a little run. I'd be interested. And where's my horn? Colucci, he's going to the Fortress. This is a parlay.
Okay.
Dodgers first 5, San Diego money line, and Vegas Knights minus the puck line plus 512 at DraftKings.
Okay. Dodgers first 5, Padres money line, Golden Knights puck line. Any bit of a homer play there from Kaluch? Are we worried about it at all that he's just...
Absolutely, but that's okay.
So good.
I'm just telling you, that you saw Denver was a little wild. That side of the strip, I'm a little worried about Kaluch and his father. All he said today on the show, we had a special Tuesday, he says, I hope they keep it classy. I said, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, Tin City, known for class. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man. All right, so a three-team parlay. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Cincinnati versus KC. They pulled it out for us last night. All three of our bets worked.
1 minute remaining.
How about Kansas City? They're throwing Lyles tonight. Lyles has started 14 games for the Kansas City Royals this year. How many they won? 0.
Wow.
We're taking Cincinnati minus 115. That one. And teams that are playing above, bad teams playing above their overall resume. That's the A's. 6 in a row now. Plus 244, plus 158, plus 215, plus 151, plus 176, plus 130. A big one again tonight. Take them on the money line to try and keep it going. The Oakland Athletics.
Who are still 32 games under 500.
Reverse boycott night tonight. They have it over 30,000 tonight.
I love it. Good for them. Okay. Otter.
30,000 the other 80 games. Trust me.
Oh, wait, your phone cut out. We're out of time. Otter, thank you. Have a great night. Otter and Hanny tomorrow, 11 to 1. Muse, Paulie, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and all this month, buy 4 treatments of laser hair removal. They'll give you 2 treatments absolutely free. You want to be done with back hair, shoulder hair, tired of shaving your back before you go to the beach or the pool? Be done with it forever. Laser hair removal can help you out. Ladies, you want to be done shaving your legs forever? Laser hair removal. A lot of guys shave parts of their beard, use laser hair removal for their beard if they work at the plant so they don't have to shave every single day. Learn more. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. And all this month, introductory pricing for those initial blood labs for hormone replacement therapy. You want to feel like your younger self? You can. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at TheAntiAgingClinics.com. That's TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.